your house thinking that you're like some old man and then or old woman, which I am an old man, but then they'll start talking to me like I'm in like kindergarten with network stuff, and I'm like, dude, I do know what the hell a Switch is. Okay, trust me. Don't
Nintendo
just
makes
because
it.
I have a Nintendo Switch doesn't mean I don't know what a network switch is. So that's what I'm saying.
It flicks
All
up
right,
and down, right? God damn it.
It's like, this is Ethernet. This is not a phone line. I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. Are you serious about that? Like, okay.
I'll be like, so you mean it's RJ45 instead of RJ? Okay, yeah. And they go, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's exactly. Yeah.
Shut up and do your work, okay?
Exactly. All right, let's go ahead and go live. Y'all ready?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Welcome everyone to Wasted with Wize, episode 28, talking shit. Hey, so tonight we are graced with a couple of our panelists, and some of the other ones will be coming in shortly. So let me go ahead and get started with the introductions. Let me go to my immediate right. Praxis, how are you doing, my man? How was your week and what you been doing, what you been playing?
Nothing. I mean,
short answer, yeah. Go ahead.
No, I haven't been playing very much. I've been playing a little bit of the finals when I get a chance to, just kind of bouncing in and out and trying to finish the season pass so I could get it done. One of those things when you get hooked into it, you're like, nah, I got to finish this.
Is it not? Has it now become more of a job than it has become a game, or what?
No, I enjoy it. No, I enjoy playing.
Okay.
it. Yeah, but it's not a chore. I actually enjoy it, but I've been wanting to get Helldivers and I just haven't taken the leap yet. I'm planning on, and then based on what we're going to talk about later, some of the stuff here and what's hitting Game Pass, I'm excited because there's some things that I haven't gotten yet that are going to go there. I'm like, okay, well, great. Now I got something else to play, and my backlog gets further back.
Cool. All right. Next, my man here, my next panelist has been up for 29 hours and he is exhausted. And so I am grateful that he made it on his cranky self. And so he's going to be exceptionally cranky tonight. I can't wait. Cerebral, what you doing, man? How was your week? What you been playing? What you been doing?
I've been playing Skull and Bones.
Yes. Yeah.
And enjoying it. I need to, hopefully now that it's gone live for everybody, that I can find some other people to play with and do some of the harder stuff as far as some of those fights and stuff with multiple ships. But to me, it's an enjoyable enough game. I didn't buy it. I'm doing the Ubisoft Pass thing. That way, if I pay for a month, if I don't like it, I stop playing it. I stop paying for it. But because basically it would take me what? For 3 or 4 months to pay for, it's playing that way to pay the full price for the game. By then I'll be done with it anyway, even if I did, it's like,
right.
And then today I picked up Helldivers because I actually got a Twitch payout the other day. Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Not bad for somebody who hadn't been streaming a whole lot.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I'm still waiting for a check to come in the mail. That's not disability.
It's a 50. They lowered their threshold to $50, which was great for me.
Oh, okay.
So
let me ask you a question though. Let me ask you a question about the Skull and Bones because there's two questions. You said you got it through Ubisoft Plus or whatever they call their service.
Yeah, what? Ubisoft Plus Premium. It's the higher priced one. It's the $17 a month one, not the base.
Now, I don't think that has joined with Game Pass, has it? Like EA has?
No. I'm waiting for it to. I'm waiting for it to, but no.
So let me ask you just a candid question. I mean, and there's no harm answering it, right? If you are not going to do Ubisoft Plus or whatever, right? Is it worth the $70 buy-in first?
No.
Flat.
Well, no, flat. If I'm being honest, no, I would not pay $70 for that game and be happy with it.
Okay.
I'm not saying that may not be true down the road, if they add some more stuff or do some balancing and stuff. But right now, I think it's a $70 game. No, I don't.
I would have said
is
the same
it strictly
thing about Sea of Thieves when it first came out though too, because it basically had no content for a long time. And then finally became something completely different than what it originally, we expected. So
what is this game? Like, is it just ship combat, basically?
Yes.
That's it?
Yes. Pretty much, if you played Black Flag, Assassin's Creed, it's the ship combat side of that. There's no boarding per se. So there's no hand-to-hand at all. It's all strictly ship. The only time you get off the ship is when you go into one of the ports to do your shopping and get some of the quests and stuff. It is, if you've only played the beta, especially the early beta, this is way different than that. It's much improved from especially
beta.
the first couple of betas they did.
I played that. Yeah.
Way improved. Yeah, it's way improved from that. I do think, and it's one of those games that does that thing that drives me crazy. Your squad can be 3 people.
No.
And instead of like, 3 and 4, it seems like that shouldn't be that much of a difference, but it does really feel like, because usually when I'm in a party, especially with my regular group, there's 4 of us.
Yes.
So if we want to play a game like this, somebody's got to go, okay,
out.
I'll sit out, So that kind of bugged me. I'd like a little more flexibility there, but it would be nice to try it with a squad. Like I said, to do some of the, because after you do some of the initial stuff, all of a sudden they're wanting you to go to areas with these big guys that will blow you out of the water in like one shot, or and you have to go collect stuff to get the higher level ships, or they have this wonderful thing that if you don't get them down fast enough, they can call for backup. And all of a sudden, that one ship out in the middle of nowhere you were fighting, there's 7 more of them coming at you.
That makes it fun.
Well, see, the thing that bothers me about the gameplay loop that they have, right? See, with Sea of Thieves, say what you will about the game. Some people love it, some people hate it, but it does offer more than just ship combat. It's like there is a little bit of exploration. There's like you can board ship. Do you think that the gameplay loop
a lot of that developed over time, though? Like he said, Sea of Thieves when it first launched did not have all that content.
Oh, it had none of that. Yeah,
it was a big empty seascape that you sailed around for hours.
It was a barren bones, just kind of like you're all over. I mean, the best part about the game was getting on the ship, playing with your instruments, and then like looking at the water physics and going like, "Fuck, that's amazing!" And that was it. That was pretty much the game. I got in there, was like, "This is cool, but what do we do? What do we do?"
Yeah.
There were no quests. There's nothing to do.
And if there was, it was like, okay, you're on the west side of the map. Okay, we want you to go way over
to the east side of the map.
In east side in almost fucking real time, by the way.
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
That
got old really quick.
Yeah,
and then it was like, and then you go on the other side, and there's like nobody there. Like you would like sail for like 15 minutes, and you're like, what the fuck?
And as soon as you dock, as soon as you dock your boat to go grab something in the island, somebody comes by and sinks your boat.
Yeah,
really.
You're like, that's great. What a great game. I love this game.
Exactly. So, but do you think that their modus operandi, if you will, is to eventually make Skull and Bones a real world looking Sea of Thieves?
It already looks good. It already looks good. I don't know if their engine's going to allow them to add like hand-to-hand combat when you're boarding the ships and stuff. I don't.
It looked like originally it was going to from like the original, from like some of the original trailers. They just abandoned that idea.
It gave that idea, yeah, and I think they did scaled it back.
They scaled it back, so it is primarily the Black Flag sailing combat. The
ship and sailing combat.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, the boat fighting is all nice and well and everything like that. I give you that. But I can say that if they don't, which I mean, it's Ubisoft. So
it depends because you are actually running a story through the thing. It is actually running a through line story. You're a smuggler or whatever, and it's running But I don't know. I don't
credit basically.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the staying power is going to be for that though.
And see, that's the thing that I'm worried about. Like if somebody's going to buy $70, go ahead.
I think the thing you should be worried about is if Ubisoft actually has the motivation to keep supporting that thing after they sunk so much money into it.
Therein is the $1 million question, right?
The only reason they even bothered putting this thing out is because they were forced to by the Singapore government.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now the other thing is that why he called it was it quadruple A game. Is that what
Yeah,
it's called?
nobody should say that kind of shit.
That's
Nobody
the
should
dumbest
say
shit I
that
think
kind
I've
of
ever
shit.
heard anybody say about a game. I was like, what are you
And
fucking
but
doing?
remember, it's been said. Somebody said about an Xbox game many years ago, and everybody looked at it and went, "What the fuck
Well,
are you
no,
talking about?"
yeah.
Yeah, I
So
remember. I don't remember.
So now you know what it takes to get that fourth A, right? Like it's like a
Yeah.
Michelin star. You know what
Extra
it
money,
requires
buddy.
you to get the next star.
Yeah.
You know what you have to have a government of some small country investing in your game in order for it to be a quadruple.
You know what that fourth day is? That's from when people go, "So what's the game about?" And you go,
Fourth is for ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it looks good. It plays pretty well. Like I said, I don't know how since I've been basically trying to solo it, I'm actually stuck because they set you up so once you become a smuggler, which is actually like 3 ranks into the game before they let you access the smuggling stuff. Every time you're trying to smuggle something, all of a sudden these big fleets are chasing after your ass. So I'm in a position where I've got to get to this other port, but these big ships are blowing the crap out of me. And when you get to the port, you can't go in while you're in combat.
So you have
So
to
it
know
kind
the
of
person,
it kind
other
of
people.
screws you over because then now I can't complete the mission. So now I'm in this endless loop of respawn, go die because I can't fast travel.
You're like,
Because
son
when
of a
you're doing
bitch.
these missions, you can't fast travel. It blocks it out.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, if
That's,
somebody's to be believed, right? If you have fast travel in your game, then your game is boring. So there you go.
Ignore that, somebody. Okay, that's just
Everybody should. Everybody should.
yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just putting out. That's what people. That's the prevailing rumor.
Okay.
Okay. If you got
Game-
fast
game-
travel in your game, then your game
Okay.
sucks. Okay.
The
So there you
games he
go.
made may be excellent, but yeah, just ignore what he says.
Yeah.
All right.
But we'll see how much longer I'm enjoying it if I can't get out of this play loop.
Yeah, no
You know.
shit. Like,
It's
in
kinda
fact,
like
I
what
could play it
Praxis
while
says.
we're streaming, and all of a sudden you're gonna hear "fuck, damn, shit, son of a bitch."
But I hear that anyways, whether you're playing a game or not. What difference does
Yeah,
it make?
but-
It's gonna.
but this way you might hear the controller fly across the room. You know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's like, oh, we're broke.
All right, next, let me go to my next panelist. Supa, how's your week? What you been playing? What you been doing, boss?
It's good, man. I've been fucking
You
killing
been
bugs.
fucking
to
good. That's
spread
good. That's really good. That's more than
Yeah.
what I've been doing this week.
Democracy.
Hey, and it's
Spreading
Valentine's Day, and I
democracy.
still didn't do any fucking this week. So there you go.
spread some democracy on them bitches.
Yeah, so that's all.
It's called these days.
No, that's literally what is it? That's the name of one of the bombs or one of the attacks in the game.
And Helldivers?
Yeah, isn't it?
No, that's just what they're constantly saying. They always fucking mention democracy. If I can pick up a sample, another sample for democracy. They just fucking constantly talking about democracy. So it's fucking.
Oh yeah, I've heard the voice prompts get rather repetitive quickly. Yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
That happened in the first game, to be honest. So not surprised.
So
But
how
like
you
it's
been
not
liking
it's not to the point where it's annoying yet. Like there's a lot of other games where they repeat shit and it really gets annoying. They
Yeah.
repeat shit here,
Hey,
but like it's
listen,
just funny.
Hey, look over there. All right, I'm done.
it? Exactly. No, but in general, how are you liking it? Is it has a staying power for you?
Yeah, I like it. It needs more content, I think. And we know that they have a bunch of content that they're going to be giving us for free, which is awesome. I
Mhm.
kind of wish that some of that content was already in it now. And there's like it's just minor gripes. Like the game is fun. I have a lot of fun playing the game, but there's some minor gripes. Like I think there needs to be more types of weapons, more types of armor. A lot of the armors they have similar perks. And it's like you'd like to see a little more unique perks for different armor sets, maybe armor set bonuses, like things that we see in a lot of other games that they could easily implement into this game that would kind of take it up to that next notch.
Mhm.
But I mean, for a fucking $40 game, it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun, man. And I'm so looking forward to the next things that come. And it's cool that almost in real time, they put out a thing on a little video on Twitter the other day that was almost in real time, like a fake news article or something. It was
Mhm.
video though, that was about basically the next thing that was happening in the game.
Oh,
So
really?
like there was a thing that happened in the game where now there's a new section that opened up because everything you do is collectively, right? So as you're fighting things, you're collectively increasing how much of that area no longer is in control of the
Oh,
enemy.
yeah, that's right. I
So
was hearing about this.
Yeah,
You were
right.
saying
which
the
I
other
which I
So
thought was rather cool. Yeah, because when I played it a little bit today, yeah.
So a new section opened up on the automaton side, and they put up a little fucking news feed, like a fucking video of the newscasters talking about, oh, the automatons sprung a fucking sneak
So they-
attack on this area, so we need you to go over there and fight back against the automatons. And like,
So they did a,
it's just
a
cool.
total
Mhm.
Starship Troopers thing.
Yeah,
That's what it
Yeah.
feels like. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
yeah,
mean-
you do an ad showing something going on in the game, and you talk about like the propaganda in it. Yeah, that's a total Starship Troopers thing.
Yeah,
It was
the whole game is a total
the-
Starship.
The
yeah.
difference,
Oh, yeah.
the difference is
Oh,
they
yeah,
fight about
that's
the show.
democracy.
That's why.
Yeah, total Starship Troopers.
Mm.
It's fucking hilarious.
but it's just cool seeing these fake news news feeds or fake
Articles.
news reports that coincide with what now is happening in the
That's a
game.
good way to
And
release
so like as
DLC
we're
and
doing
open
shit, we're gonna
things.
get these news things. It's fucking
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm waiting for the news footage when we see the soldier get his brain pan blown out like Jake Busey did in the movie. You know?
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. They did that. Yeah.
I'm waiting for it.
it.
I was one of the concerns, I guess. What you've actually said, Super, actually reminds me of all the concerns that I had with Anthem. Unfortunately, it kind of gives me a little bit of a little leery. I mean, for $39, that's not too bad. I paid full price for Anthem, so it's a little different story. But I had the same kind of that game loop where you would collect all of your like weapons and all your armor and everything. Well, in Anthem, I don't know if anybody remembered it, but the armor and the weapons, they were identical. There was no difference. They were all exactly the same, and you never got anything different. And it was like, oh my god, what happened to this game?
Remember that flamethrower that had like negative damage or something?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, there was some terrible shit. Yeah, they were like, what is going on?
The gameplay loop though for me in Anthem never felt quite as fun, and even the combat and stuff, it never
Flying.
how hectic and stuff the combat gets in this game. It just that's what makes it so much fun. It's very, if you just kind of pull everything back, what makes the game so much fun is just how hectic and crazy the shit gets when you have these fucking hordes of robots and hordes of bugs. So at its basic fundamentals, I think, because everything else is additive. When you just break down to its basic fundamentals, the basic fundamentals for me are far more fun than Anthem ever was. So as they add shit to it, it's just gonna make it more fun.
Yeah, and I'm glad you can play, because for me they need some. I mean, I paid for it. I can't get a refund, but man, they need some accessibility stuff in there, because
I can see how it would be difficult.
Some of the control schemes and stuff, especially all the left-handed side stuff, is very difficult for me. Gotta do the L2 button plus then the direction keys to open up stuff or to trigger stuff. It's like, this is hard, and you still got stuff rushing at you at the same time. So you got to try to do this on the move. And it's like,
that's part of the chaos. You're trying to put in these fucking codes. You're like, oh shit, I'm getting left, down, up, right, fucking goddamn it, left, son of it.
Well, I did the first mission, right? And as soon as I landed on the planet, 7 of the things were right on top of me. I'm like, really? I mean,
you can get ready.
That's what happens when you don't pay attention. You got to kill.
No, that wasn't even a don't pay attention. That was literally you're out of the pod. And holy shit, I'm getting hit. I mean, it was that quick.
Oh, immediately. Okay, never mind. Yeah.
Valid points are not accepted here. Keep those to yourself, okay?
Yeah.
And it's good. It's good that the game's also as successful as it is right now. Because I think the devs came out and said that they had their roadmap that they had planned for all the additional content they're going to be adding to the game. But because of how successful and how big the game's gotten, now they're actually looking to expand their team.
Expanding the roadmap.
And their roadmap going further is going to be much more ambitious than they originally planned. It's like, fuck yeah, I'm all for that.
Break that money in.
Well, I do still sort of think the first game was like isometric, so this was like I would still say this is like a soft relaunch of the franchise, maybe kind of like a proof of concept.
I mean, aside from the fact that it's got the same enemy types and same things that are carrying over from the first game, everything is brand new. Like there's nothing that's shared between the first game other than the theme,
other than the concept.
The concept and the name, basically,
yeah,
pretty much.
And the store that you can't help but hit every time you hit a button and it says, you want to buy something? No, I don't want to buy it.
No, I mean, I think Starship Troopers is one of those movies that is like, I won't say evergreen, but it's one of those movies that just have a cult following. So having a game sort of play tongue in cheek is basically sort of motivated by that movie.
Yeah, I
mean,
really wish we would get a full Starship Troopers game, a lot like we did with RoboCop, that carried a lot of the same humor that
But would you really even need one? Like now you got
Verhoeven.
Helldivers 2. What would a Starship Troopers game look
Well,
like?
I guess there already is a Starship Troopers game that's very similar to Helldivers 2. It already exists. I think it's on PC.
I thought there was one. Yeah.
there's an older one that's out there that
I was going to say if somebody was going to do it, I'd have what's her name, the team behind RoboCop, do it and just make it go crazy.
Mhm.
That'd be awesome, and do it totally like RoboCop, right to the movie.
I was gonna say, why you're asking why we would want this, because have you played the RoboCop game?
Oh,
Yes, I
fucking awesome.
have played. I've dipped my toes in it.
If you've watched all three of the movies, especially,
Yeah.
there's a lot of Easter eggs. There's a lot of references that if you're a fan of the movie, you're like, holy shit, this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To the point to where I actually watched the first two movies right after I played the game, and the sets they built for the game are spot on to the movie.
Oh yeah.
I am not kidding you. The video store, all the stores they had you go in, they were spot on to the movie. Absolutely.
Let's start with the fucking baseball team.
And the arcade, they were
Fucking. Oh my god! I just
Where'd
remembered.
he go? Where'd he go? The little bastards are still here.
Stay in school. What the hell? And they thank you for not smoking. Yeah,
Exactly. Do they have the Dare?
It's worth two in the bush.
Do they have the Dare advertisements anywhere in the game?
Yes, they did have a
I'll
Dare.
buy that for $1.
They did have a Dare advertisement in the police station. They had a poster up there actually.
Ah,
Yeah.
cool.
There's so much culture, and even one of the enemy types that you fight is actually one of the RoboCop 2 prototypes.
Oh,
that
that's
was
awesome.
a failure in RoboCop
is
2.
it The one
Yeah.
that like shot itself in the head and shit.
Well, no, the one like that was like
it's
Kane.
the one that lifts up
The one
that
that
lifts up the head, and it's just a skull.
oh,
yeah.
he goes, ah!
Yeah, they had that
Yeah.
one, and the main bad guy is had the same build like Kane did. Remember
Oh,
Kane?
Yeah, it's a boss fight with that.
Yeah,
The official
yeah.
RoboCop 2. Yeah,
Right.
That's fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, if they make a Starship Troopers game, they better have a scene like
They
a
already
mini
have.
game where you get to fuck the girl. Kind of like a God of War situation.
when RoboCop the game came out, I seriously had like flashbacks of RoboCop versus Terminator, and I'm like, God, they got to get that
Oh,
fucking
dude,
franchise.
such a good
Yeah.
Make a
game.
game like that in that. Oh my God, because that Terminator Resistance that came out.
Yeah.
So finally the good version of it finally came on Xbox. That was the enhanced version.
Right.
And it's actually a pretty decent game. It's not a bad game at all.
Oh, the ones the same guys did RoboCop.
That'd be the one. They
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
need
I fucking love that
together.
game. It's
Right.
really good.
Yeah.
They need to put them together.
Oh, yeah.
That would be
yeah.
badass.
You know what movie they should do actually instead of even Starship Troopers? Mars Attacks. I would love a fucking video
Yeah.
game with Mars Attacks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tom Jones doing the soundtrack. Oh my God, that would be excellent, So
It's not
yeah.
unusual to be loved by anyone.
Run around like
Carlton
with,
fucking
on
Easter
a
egg.
body, your head is something, and you're on the body of a chihuahua. Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah. I mean, they should go back. I mean, some of those '90s cheesy movies, those are like perfect fodder for video games. They would.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Wize.
Yeah.
They already
Yes,
made a video game for Starship Troopers. Shh. It's a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah. They were telling me there was, but it's only on PC, right?
Yeah. And I don't think it had the humor and stuff, so it was lacking that part.
Nope.
It didn't have the.
Oh, okay.
It was like when they rebooted RoboCop, and I mean the movie from the mid 2000s was absolute shit because they left out anything that made it cheesy and corny and funny. They left out all the humor. They tried to do it as a straight drama, action
Man,
movie.
that fucking thing
Yeah.
was RoboCop in name only. That whole thing was
Yeah,
absolute
yeah.
shit.
Trash.
Yep.
Well,
It was.
Yeah.
that's like back in the day.
And then they did the shit like they did in the Devil May Cry game where they gave him the fucking gay looking hair, and for a second the white wig went on, and he's like, no, I don't fucking think so. They did that shit
Not in
on
a million
RoboCop where
years.
they had the silver armor, and
Yeah.
they're like, no, I want something more tactical, and they made him black, and it's like RoboCop doesn't have fucking black armor, you piece of shit. Like, what is this
Exactly.
shit?
It's not Robo Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, and they do it for a second. It's like,
Robo
nah,
Ninja.
I don't like the silver. It's like, we don't give a shit what you like, Michael Keaton.
Dude,
Don't make it black.
They made.
All right, Triple, how you been doing, my man? Well, how's your week been going? What you been playing? What you been doing?
I'm okay. I just got out of the snow, which was great. Slipping and sliding. That was fun.
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh man, it's wonderful. It's just fluffy stuff that rains from the sky every now and then. It looks like dandruff. But yeah, no, I'm good. I'm currently playing Elden Ring, actually, trying to get through the rest of the game with my Magic Chaos ending build. Also went back to Final Fantasy VII Remake, so I've been playing that still. And bounce between was it Destiny as usual. Whenever weekly reset comes around, do a dungeon, then peace out. Well, I'm trying to get one of the exotics, and it's just not giving me the exotics. So I'll play the dungeon.
You have to put more time in. You have to stop doing all this other shit.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem is that the way they have it set up is that I can only farm for the exotic one time per character. So now I'm just barely touching the game now after the week.
Wait. So you can only actually one time per character forever. That you get one shot.
Yeah, one shot until they do like this rotation type of thing. But the way it's set up, it's not going to be in rotation till next season. But you can farm the activity itself for other drops, but not the exotic. And I just want the exotic because I got so many of the other weapons. But it's like, yeah, you only do that once a week. So I was like, all right, well, I'll play it one time and then peace out, or 3 times technically, peace out.
What he's saying here that's funny is you can pointing out the designs for their armor and their weapons are so amazing in Destiny 2. They're so cool that you actually that's the whole point of the game was to play it so you can get the crazy shit. I'm like, yes, that's awesome. I fucking got it. And then I'd get it and I realized, it doesn't work with my character type. So fuck it. I'm parking my fucking vault.
You might want to turn the light off. We can see that trash can behind you now. You need to throw that shit out.
Oh shit, it's okay. It's graded papers. Trust me. If you see what's sticking out,
your box of tampons is sticking out, bro.
Yeah. Look, he turned around. He turned around to verify what it was. He's like, "Oh, let me see what's back."
No, I wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure the hooker that came in on Valentine's Day did not actually leave her tampon. So that's
nasty. Neighbors at the window. I think he's knocking.
Well, if you can't get it for free, you got to pay for it, right? So there you go. Anyhow.
Oh, and by the way, you're also one of those people that leaves those stupid stickers on the new shit you get. So it'll be.
Yeah. No, you know why I leave the stupid stickers is so that I can return it back to Amazon and say, "Oh, it's never been used." So there you go.
And they're gonna be, why does it smell like shit? Literally, yeah. What the hell?
I love my wife, but she
Did you?
We don't take returns on butt plugs. We don't
Guys, we got a young in here, okay? We got a young in here. We got to be respectful with our languages with the young folks, okay? That's all I got to say. Speaking of young folks, Callie, how you doing, my man? How's your week been going? What you been doing? What you been playing, sir?
I've honestly been playing the game of life, just surviving school. Had to get through midterms.
Well, if my school is anything to tell, if you bitch enough, you can probably get the professor in a whole lot of trouble. That basically. So there you go.
Oh, is that what you got yelled at today for? One of your little shits that you.
Oh,
he plugged me.
Little turd.
I didn't do any of the homework or any of the tests, but I should get a B.
Yeah, it's like basically, seriously, that's exactly what happened. This little turd didn't do shit, right? And ended up failing it. And I reprimanded him like, of course you're not gonna do well. You don't know how to do any of this stuff. And he went and complained, and then they called me, Did you get angry at one of your students? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, why did you get angry? And I'm like, well, because he failed and he's a smart kid and he didn't do anything, and then he thinks that he failed because he didn't understand, and he didn't understand because he didn't do anything. And so he's like, well,
I'm a non-binary trans vampire. I dare you.
No. In school, it's not that. In school, it's, look, I've been held back 3 times, man. You need to push me forward.
That's exactly.
I'm in middle school and I'm driving and I'm in middle school. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in middle school and I have my own parking space in the staff parking lot. You know, it's like,
I can't add or subtract my way out of a paper bag, but I deserve to pass this advanced math course. Sorry.
The best line ever was from Booger from what was it?
Revenge of the Nerds.
But he was in Better Off Dead. When he was in Better Off Dead, he's like, look.
Oh,
I've
you
been
mean
going to school-
the actor, not the actual character.
Oh,
Right.
the actor. He's like, no, the actor of the movie. He said, look, I've been going to the school for 7 years. I'm no dummy. So
Yeah.
that's what you do.
No. The best was Tommy Boy when Chris Farley said, "Yeah, well,
Yeah.
many people go to school for 8 years," and David Spade's like, "Yeah, they call them doctors." Yeah.
Pretty much.
No, it's funny. It's like they just want to be patted on the head. It's like, yeah, you're good. You'll be fun and stuff like that. No, I had a.
Jesus Christ.
Now you want to
It
know
could
something
be worse, bro. You've seen these videos of the kids throwing hands at the teachers. It could be way worse, man.
Now the best part is the parents are enabling. A couple of semesters ago, I had a student right in one of my college classes, and I got a phone call from this number, and this lady left a message, and I picked up, and I called her back, and she's like, "Yeah, my son is a student in your college class, and I like to set up a parent-teacher conference." And I'm like, I don't think I can do that.
I gotta find a video. Oh my
Like your
God.
son is in
Ma'am,
college.
your son is 35 years old, ma'am.
I was taken aback. I'm like, are you? I was thinking to myself, I was like literally having an out of body experience. I was like, are you shitting me? Do you want me to have a parent teacher
It's
conference
like
with a
it-
21-year-old?
It's like, is this legit? Why?
No, so what I did was I told him to talk to the head of my department, right? So the head of my department called me in a couple of days later, said, "Did this lady call you?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Did you tell her to call me?" I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, why the hell did you do that?" I said, "Because I don't know how to answer to that, How do I answer to a parent of a kid in college, that I can't do this?" And he's like, "Oh, okay." I said, "So what did you say?" And he's like, "Well, I told the lady to please cut the cord." I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, at least you can say that. I can't." Now, I guess there's perks being the head of the freaking department, right? So there you go. Anyhow, but yeah. So yeah, if you bitch enough, apparently you can get the professor in trouble or something.
in the school I worked at, it was one of the kids who always did stupid shit. Well, then turned to his dad was a high level lawyer and shit like that. So anytime a kid got in trouble with dad being there and all that. And one day I was actually friends with the kid, and I asked him, I said, "You do a lot of this shit because you'll get away with it, don't you?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, don't do." And I told him, "Don't do that with me." And after that, he was fine. Then he was cool with me. He would still do shit with other teachers and shit. But when I asked him to do something or told him not to do something, it stopped. So.
Well, 4Q Tube said actually something best. He said, "Fuck being a teacher these days." Then, yeah, they do all this shit, and then they wonder why they can't find any teachers, and they have to go overseas to hire them. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know why you can't find teachers these days. Maybe because of the way you're treating these teachers and stuff. So I don't know. But anyway, so enough of that, Callie. So what else? What else? How's your week been going? And have you been playing anything even before the finals or midterms?
Actually, one thing I just got this today. Actually, I actually just got the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection.
Trash
shit.
Awesome. I always say I'm gonna find a way. I'm gonna do one podcast in a week where I'm not going to have the word Metal Gear Solid mentioned, and unfortunately,
I mean, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
So, Callie, have you played it at all? Because
Nope,
what I want to know is,
I haven't
once you
played
do,
any of the Metal Gear games actually.
oh,
You haven't
once
played
you do,
any of the Metal Gear? What is wrong with
once
you?
once you do, I want to know if
Not here.
once you do, I want to know if the older games still use the tank controls, because then I won't be picking it up. Seriously.
It's true.
I can go
Yeah.
boot it up for you real quick. Get you. And now I'm playing.
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
you better get all that crap
you
out of your
can't do
system
tank
right
control?
now before Loke chimes in, because he's gonna chew your ass out.
I gotta post something up.
Oh, come on. Nobody likes those tank controls, dude.
And nobody likes it, but still, that's
No.
Loke's game. You better not say he's
Yeah,
gonna
That,
rebuke
that was,
you.
that was one of the best modifications they made when they first remade Resident Evil on the GameCube. Was just
Yeah.
removing the tank controls
Yeah.
and giving you analog controls. That was one of the best things.
I don't know. I mean, you know,
do
sometimes
that
like
with the
going
World
back
Cup
and playing
too.
those games in retro, yeah, it is an old way of controlling things, but there was a little bit of a charm. I mean, it got old quick. I'm not gonna say that. Oh yeah, it's a great way, but there was a little bit of a charm where you had to like turn, and then so the guy could
I
just
mean,
turn like this.
No.
it's not bad. It's just that after what 20 years now
Mhm.
of using analog controls, trying to go back, like your brain is like, how the fuck does this shit work? Even though we used to do it no problem back in the
I felt
day,
the same way with
you're so used to
I
analog
was like,
sticks now.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
It's like I tried playing Nintendo 64 years ago. I can't fucking
Yeah.
do it anymore. I'm like,
Oh,
fuck
with the
this.
controller? Yeah, dude, it's hard.
Yeah, I like
What
using
the
the C
hell?
buttons to look up and down and GoldenEye. I was like,
Yeah.
dude, fuck this. Me, when I was a kid, dude, I was fucking skating around them fucking mazes and shit like nothing. I can't do it now, bro. I'm
It
used
was
to doing
awesome
analog
at
sticks.
GoldenEye
Can't.
now. Fuck that.
Yeah.
So anything else that you've been playing? Because you didn't play the Metal Gear game. Have you not played any? Did you play anything else before that? What were you playing before that? Gally?
Oh, he's gone.
Honestly, I was just playing Yu-Gi-Oh and Balloon Towers Defense.
My
I wasn't
man,
really
I was
playing
actually
Balloon
playing
Fuck
that.
yeah,
Towers
dude.
Defense?
Bro,
Really?
Fuck yeah, man. You get that
yeah,
super monkey.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's actually a
Dude, I
pretty fun
fucking
game
love
when you
balloons,
get
man.
into that.
Balloons is the shit.
I
Do you know
I
what
mean,
balloons
that
is,
was-
Wise?
What is?
Yeah, I'll just take
you
your fucking word for that one.
That-
I'll just go ahead. You
It's
know.
fun. That's some
Have you
Hey,
played
hey,
it before, Wise?
every kid played that back in high school. Everyone,
know.
like, whenever you had a
Yeah, that's
computer
what I'm
room,
saying.
whenever you had a computer room, everyone would just be playing that when the teacher wasn't looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only balloon game I ever played, and I still enjoyed, I still played it today, is Balloon Fight, you know, on the old NES.
Yeah.
That game is very
By the way,
good.
just so you know, the only game we played when I was in high school on the computer was Castle Adventure, which was all text. Okay, that's
No, we played, what was that, Oregon Trail. You know, you died of dysentery.
Oh,
or
dude,
something.
no, you
Everybody
gotta
dies of
understand.
dysentery.
Yeah.
You got to understand. I didn't, you know, I didn't have Oregon Trail. That came out like a year, you know, after I started, 2 years after I started using the computers at all.
Yep.
You know?
Dude, I loved Oregon Trail. I was like, yeah, I get to come to school, get on an Apple computer
Yeah,
and play
I
a
get to
video
come,
game, and then the teachers are grading me on it. Hell yeah. I'm
Yeah,
all
you-
about that. Yeah. I can do
Die
that.
of
That fucking
dysentery.
game, everyone always dies of dysentery, and it's always after they randomly decide to make you leader of the entire fucking pack
I'm the leader of the
for no reason. It's like, dude, what qualifications do I have where you've all decided who voted on this shit?
And it's
I'm the
once you
leader now?
cross the fucking
As
Mississippi.
soon as they make you the leader, yeah, everyone dies after you cross the.
I used to make it a goal to see how many different afflictions I could imply into the family. You know, okay, you've been snake bit, you got dysentery, you've got
got snake
cholera. Yeah.
You guys ever play a Dino Park Tycoon?
Dino Park. No, I never played that one. What was that like?
But I never played it. I don't think.
It was basically like making Jurassic Park. It was,
Oh,
Dino
okay.
Park Tycoon
Oh
was
yeah,
where
yeah. I
would-
saw
you
it.
would,
I never played it.
raise the different dinosaurs and make different amusement park things. Yeah, like I said, basically Jurassic Park, but it was back in the day, like
Hmm.
90s.
Oh,
Fucking
okay.
dope game.
I
Yeah, it's been-
remember it. I never played it, but I remember it.
In my computer class, every once in a while when they let us play games, we had fucking Dino Park Tycoon on there.
See, I miss computer classes back in the day, because back in the day, nobody knew how to fucking work a computer, and they had Apple IIe's, and then they went to Macintoshes in the education field, and even the teachers who taught the computer class didn't know anything about it. I remember I took a computer class, and there was a project that we had to do, and all I did was, me and my partner, we just took some of the lines and made them into hyperlinks, and the teacher was fucking blown away by that. And we created that project in September, and we were still resting off of the laurels of that project all the way into May. And we would set, every time we had a project, we just submit the same project, and the teacher was like, "Oh my god, how did you do that? Oh, A+." So
When I was a junior, I went to a school that had specialized computer. I did the curriculum in under 2 weeks. After that, I was the ad hoc teacher's assistant and others. And I also, that's when I got my first job with the school district, because I became an assistant for the adult ed computer courses.
probably
That's
the
why-
ad hoc teacher, let alone the teacher assistant.
No, actually, no.
honest
The
with you.
teacher I had was really good. We're still friends on Facebook. And I thank him because he's the one who taught me. Because we were on Commodore 64s, and he had all these stacks of pirated software. I mean, let's be honest, it was like 80, 83,
Oh, it was easy as
84.
fuck to pirate shit
Yeah.
back then.
And so, but he had no documentation. So after I did the 2 weeks of actual schoolwork, he sat me down and said, look, we have all these stacks of stuff. I want you to sit down with and put each one in and document how they work and what they do and what buttons do. Basically, I was writing the documentation. That's why to this day, I can pretty much sit down in front of anything on any computer and figure it out, even if I've never seen it before, which came in handy when I was working for the school district as a tech, because a lot of times, you know, like you might have a program you want to use in your math class, but the tech may have no idea what it is, but you say, hey, look, can you see if make sure this is going to work with our systems or whatever? So that was my job. So I thank him anytime we talk for having that skill set, you know, that hardware and software, I can pretty much troubleshoot and or do anything like that, even if I've never been exposed to it before.
So they basically, so the schools actually taught you a useful skill. What a concept,
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely. Well, it was the 80s, you know, with before shit when so
Damn, what
Yeah.
school did you go
And
to?
I-
I
and
need
I
to
was-
go there.
I was
Exactly.
I was in fucking private school in New York. They actually taught us shit. When I moved to Arizona in 1997, I was learning shit in 7th grade that we had already fucking been taught in like fucking 3rd and 4th grade.
You're like, what is going
yeah. Well, that's the difference for the private school, especially a military school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. I was like, are you
Shooting
fucking
out of
serious?
desks
We're
or
not we're
something.
learning this shit now?
All right, so let's go ahead and go to the topics tonight. So I do like talking about things.
Well,
that are not
I'd like to thank everybody, and you can find me on.
No. This one is not going to be that. This one's not going to be that chaotic. I promise you. This is the first topic, and I like talking about things that are not necessarily video game specific, but generally in the environment of video games, if you will.
So about the
And-
video AI shit.
Yeah, they
So nerd adjacent.
nerd adjacent,
Nerd.
exactly. So yeah, something interesting happened this week. They did announce the casting for Fantastic Four. They got Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm. I think Pedro Pascal will be Mr. Fantastic,
Right.
and then they got
That's
Joseph
the only one I don't
Quinn.
like.
I don't
Really?
like any of them except for the girl. Everybody sucks.
Yeah.
They're terrible. It's a
Then
terrible.
there's Joseph Quinn. I don't know what is he. Is he the Human Torch, or is
Yes.
he going to be?
The list I saw didn't list who was going to be the
Yeah,
thing.
he's from Stranger Things season 4 or some shit.
Yeah.
He's Eddie, the fucking metalhead.
Dude,
Oh,
I'll take-
oh yeah,
I'll
that's
take
right.
Fantastic
Shit,
Four
yeah, you're
over this, I
right,
swear to God.
dude.
Yeah, for him, for Johnny
It's
Storm,
terrible.
I'm like, no.
I, Pedro Pascal. No.
Yeah, well, listen, I love Pedro Pascal, but he
I
doesn't.
don't.
He's not Reed Richards, man, and he's in too much shit. He's
Yeah,
tired of
I'm
seeing
getting
his
a
ass.
Pascal
He's
burnout.
fucking
Yeah.
way too overused. It's like
It's
Richmond.
because Disney already has him under contract for Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Probably
next
because he's
Mandalorian-
producing.
for
He's
the
basically
Mandalorian
starring in
movie.
everything he's producing. Okay, that's just
Yeah,
the way that works.
and he's in the Mandalorian movie that they're doing. So when it comes to scheduling, it's
Yeah.
easy for them to just get Pedro because they know exactly what his schedule is going to be because his schedule is all their shit. So it's easy to fucking get
Well,
him.
and then HBO isn't, as critical. They're like, yeah, we only shoot what a couple months out of the year. We're good.
Yeah, but Vanessa Kirby's the only one where I'm like, yeah, I can see that. Everybody else, I'm like,
Yeah, the girl, she looks fine. She fits perfect for that.
yeah, she's cute, man, a little British girl.
I was
Right.
kind of I thought when they used what's his name Krasinski or whatever his name is in the previous
Yeah.
Marvel movie that he would have made a good Reed Richards and they should have.
That
stuck
was
with
the
that.
fan casting, and
Yeah.
that's what everybody
It was
wants.
great. Yeah.
But he's also super tied up doing his own shit, man. He's producing his own movies
Right.
that he's
Yeah.
written, and he's directing them, and he's
Yeah.
happy doing that shit. Plus, I think
But
he
there's-
didn't want to sign up for something where for the next 10 years he did nothing
Right.
but Marvel movies. So that's why he was
This
like, I'll do that one, but nothing else.
My problem is there's a million other fucking actors out there for Christ's sake, and I'm like, they keep going
Yeah.
to the same old people. It's like I understand contracts and shit, but there's more people out there. And
Well,
yeah,
it's also depending on who the group is putting it together. Even some of the independent guys I've spoken to, they like to work with the same set of people
Yeah,
because
I
they
know,
know
but-
how they work.
fucking
you know.
Disney sucks. I'm sorry, just say it.
Well, here's the thing, right? They did not say anything. They do have Adam Driver here listed in IMDb playing in this movie as well. They didn't mention Adam Driver having anything. I would presume that the main antagonist would be Doctor Doom, right? So, do we know anything about that? Because I think that was the main problem with the other Fantastic Four movies.
I don't
think they announced
for the
it yet.
first film.
They did in the first Fantastic Four film because they needed a way to draw everybody in. I mean, Marvel was really just on the beginnings of being popular, so they needed to bring the main draw. Now,
hopefully, don't do that again.
Oh yeah, well,
I think what's rumored is it's going to be Galactus
already,
and that'll be the big bad. That's what they're saying. And I mean, I've seen some weird shit though. Like if you look at the poster, you can see the outline of Galactus's head. If you zoom in on the fucking Venetian blinds in the back, I'm like, dude, who does this shit? But
people like
Digital Foundry does it. Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah, right. Enhanced. But that's what was being said is that it's going to be Galactus, and that it's going to take place in the '60s.
Oh,
really?
Well, that's a big letdown.
Yeah, if you look at the poster is very '60s retro inspired. Even the way like the Marvel logo is done, it's like the old like Cinerama movie type shit. So I don't know if that it takes place in the 60s or if whatever happens in space knocks them back in time into the 60s. But supposedly it'll take place in the 60s.
Multiverse, bitches, multiverse.
Yeah, but the picture on the wall, if you look at the poster, the picture on the wall of Ben Grimm in his astronaut suit, that suit is like an 80s, 90s suit, not the suit they had in the 60s. So that's why people are saying that they think it'll start in present. And somehow they go through a wormhole in space time, end up in the 60s, and then come back to present time.
Oh, come on, Darth! They're gonna they're gonna do the thing around the sun. It's very Star Trekky, you know.
Why does everybody have? It's just when something was used, back when they did that was interesting because that wasn't used very much. Now it's like, oh yeah, we got a wormhole, take us back in time, go through this fucking portal, and oh yeah, you can change.
Or the wormhole or slingshot around the sun. That's the Star Trek way. They slingshot around the sun thing.
I understand the concept of comic book movies being based on comic books that always rebooted shit. I get that. I was a comic book collector. I loved comic books and I still enjoy them, reading them. But I gotta say,
comic book. You guys are such nerds.
Thanks, Baldy.
Oh, so wait. The guy wearing a tie and wearing glasses.
That's what I'm saying. Those who live in glass houses, shit. Come on.
Hey, there's some Metal Gear stuff.
Whatever you say, Four Eyes.
Yeah, all you need is a pocket protector, and you sold it, man. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with a pocket protector, okay? Nothing wrong with that.
It protects your pocket. Yeah, no.
Thank you very much.
Exactly. It does its job. It's as it says, and it doesn't have a fancy name. It tells you exactly what it's supposed to do in its title. No, but I would have thought Doctor Doom would have been in this one, right? Because they're trying to build up to Secret Wars, and
I think that he's going to be involved at some point. Again, I don't know, but like people are saying that it won't be this one that they're hinting at. It'll be something that leads up to Secret Wars, like you were saying. In the Deadpool Wolverine trailer, there's that Secret Wars comic.
Deadpool Wolverine is the only
Easter
thing
egg.
I'm even interested in. I mean, that's it.
Facts.
I could
Facts.
They could burn it all down, and I wouldn't give a shit. I'd be like, whatever, good.
Dude, the X-Men '97 animated cartoon.
No, did you see most of the shit about it? I don't even want to talk about it.
Well, I've seen the shit about like Morph and how they're doing with so I was like, but I mean.
The relationship.
Dude, I heard the theme song and it makes me happy. So I hope they don't fuck it up, but they probably will.
Oh, they sure will.
I heard that the Marvel Zombies animated cartoon is going to get a hardcore R rating. It's going to be gory as fuck. Oh, they're making the fucking animated Marvel Zombies series, and it's hardcore rated R.
Oh, seriously? It's going to be R? Oh my god, that'll be awesome.
No, they said not R. They said hardcore. This was their word. It's hardcore rated R.
What is hardcore R? Is it like R?
There's going to be lots of fucking blowjobs and
what?
And
zombie blowjobs.
Zombie hookers. It reminds me of the second Resident Evil movie where fucking what is it? Method Man's fucking driving down the street and looks at the zombie hookers.
They might.
Or the zombie strippers, and he gets distracted by their tits and he crashes the car.
Super.
Resident Evil
Let
2.
me ask the important questions. I have important questions here. Do the
much-
Yes,
zombie
sir.
hookers
He
squat?
sniffed tonight? Jesus.
Do they
Oh.
squat? And do they have nice round asses?
Nice round.
Not as good as the
yeah,
Stellar Blade
yes,
Blade, but oh well, it'll work, you know. So
Wait, the
Stellar
Stellar
Yams.
Blade. I heard from some overweight chicks in New York that she's not real. I heard she's not real. So I don't know what you guys are on about.
Real women don't look like that. It's like, you have to do,
Bro.
bitch.
Oh well.
Do a diet, all right? Or
Get an apartment on
just
the
go to
third
Cozy
floor, bitch.
Beluga's Instagram. Go to Cozy Beluga's Instagram.
Cozy
I'm just
froze. I
saying.
don't know if Cozy's just standing. I don't know what happened to Cozy, but this ain't me because I got 900 going down. So this ain't me.
She did
That's her
freeze.
camera
I can
froze. So
hear you.
that sucks. Yeah, but you chose a weird photo to freeze.
can
I'm
see
sorry
it.
to say.
Wait, how do you freeze a photo?
Well, I don't know. She just blanked out, so
It's
I
not
don't know
a
what
You
happened.
got shit internet like Wise.
Oh,
No,
Dude, now you're-
no.
All right.
now you have no
Actually-
camera on whatsoever. It's a black screen.
So I don't have shit internet. I'm gonna just tell you. I'm maxing out my RAM.
Oh shit.
Oh, okay. okay.
No, it is my fault. I have 4 games running and
Well, that was,
Oh,
what are you doing?
and 3 browsers.
I was gonna are you watching? Are you?
And
watching
each browser has like 50 tabs open.
Yeah,
50 is
Pornhub
low.
kills it.
50 is low.
Trust me, Cozy. I know from personal experience. Pornhub kills your RAM. So I'm
Three
sorry.
farming simulators and one
What?
action
Oh, yeah.
game? What are you playing?
It's got to save all those
I
mini
have a-
video windows inside the one
I just
screen.
basically minimize games so I don't have to go back into them.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Arcue
that-
says multitasker.
I do that with freaking like browsers, and it fucking eats the RAM, and my fucking computer takes a dive.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
All
Jesus
right, I have to go to
Yeah.
the toilet.
No,
Stop.
okay.
thank you for
Oh,
sharing that.
thank you,
Yeah.
Terrence.
Yeah.
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 I'm gonna close down some of them.
Thank you.
Don't take
I'll
us
be right
with you.
back, guys. I'm
Don't
gonna take
take
a
us with
fast
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just close down some of them. Ugh, I don't
Well-
like having to close everything.
Ah,
I like closing everything.
If
But
it's
I
really
can't get any
if
more
it's really
RAM.
that difficult, just hit the reset button. That'll close
I can't
everything.
get any more RAM though, so
How much RAM do you got? 16 gigs or something?
32, but that's all I
Jeez.
can.
Wait, you got 32 and you're bogging down your system? Okay, yeah, you need
That's
to.
running a lot. I mean,
I
What
just
are you
kept
running?
getting
She's like,
more,
I'm
'cause
running
that was the
Crisis,
solution.
Crisis, Crisis, and Crisis.
Yeah.
So,
And Pornhub.
okay, so worst one
Crisis
is
2,
for
Crisis
Sims.
Cyberpunk. Yeah, we got them all going.
Mhm.
Full res.
I hear Mario coins. What's going on?
Yeah.
all right. Well, no, that's my alarm there. So, all right. Another movie, another snippet that
You
came
have,
out
do you,
in the
have,
movie
do you have to
world.
go put the chicken? You have to go put the chicken in the oven. Is that why your alarm went off? You got to go. Put the...
No, but what time is it? It is. It's almost. So yeah, it's nearing 6. That's why my
It's
time.
Morbin time?
It's Mighty Morphin
It's
time.
Morbin time.
Morbid.
You're basically-
It's Morbin time.
Oh, fucking
Impressive.
goddamn Sony with those fucking movies.
Yeah.
Go ahead, love.
No, but there was another trailer that dropped this week that was pretty interesting. It was pretty good. Deadpool and Wolverine. And
You mean the
Pretty
only
good.
movie we care about?
I'm
yeah, the only movie I
Bro.
we care about.
The most watched trailer in 24 hours in fucking history.
Mm. Yeah,
It's pretty
it
good.
was good though. It was good.
Oh, it was full on chub status, bro. I was like, oh yeah, I can feel the blood flowing.
Oh, it was true.
Oh no.
And it was. I
no.
love the meta. I love it. He's like, I am the MCU Jesus, and I'm like, yeah, you're there to save the MCU because you're the only one who could probably.
for
He's the
sure.
best.
For sure. I hope they play into that. I hope he talks shit about Disney.
He's not going
the
to
entire
save
time.
the fucking MCU. He
Look,
doesn't write all the
he's not gonna-
movies.
He's not going to say
Deadpool 3 is going to be awesome.
Mhm.
It's going to make $1 billion, and then Disney is going to go right back to
Of
the
course.
same mediocre
course.
level that
Of course.
they've been since.
I would
Endgame.
100%
Nothing's going
expect that to
change.
happen.
Nothing's going to change.
100%.
Oh no,
So-
nothing will change now.
Somebody took the title screen and it was really funny. They put a tweet up. They put a tweet up. It said, "Deadpool and Wolverine and Knuckles." You know, like
Did you see Hugh Jackman's? Hugh Jackman
Uh-huh.
took it and put Wolverine above it and said Wolverine and asshole.
Yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah.
Oh,
Was that the
shit, that's
official
true.
Hugh Jackman account?
Oh,
Hugh
cool.
Jackman's Instagram. My wife's like, "Hey, check it out," and I was like, "What?" And it says instead of Deadpool and Wolverine, he put Wolverine above Deadpool and put asshole instead.
Asshole. Yeah.
Great.
Oh, okay.
Ryan
I
Reynolds
like
knows how to
it. I
market,
like
man.
the
He's a genius.
first
Yeah.
joke out the gate. There was that pegging joke for anyone that
That
was
was
like,
great.
dude, it's gonna be Disney-fied. I mean, it was gonna be a Disney princess. Like, what's going on now? He's like, oh no, we're gonna talk about fucking dudes up the ass with strap-ons the second the trailer starts.
Yeah, this is gonna be a problem. We're gonna be good.
Oh, it was beautiful. It was
Actually, if it's a proper Disney movie, they should be talking about doing like bad things to children. So
Oh.
really messing with the grown men is really PC for Disney. So it's all good. It's all good.
yeah. So
Loki's
my
going
God.
hard in the paint. God damn.
I mentioned Metal Gear, didn't I, Luke? I mean, I was.
It's okay. We can
Distracted confusion.
we can talk about the news out of Nigeria that I saw earlier this week. Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
All right. So yeah, Deadpool's gonna do well. I think it's and it was like giving a man
gonna be
in
$1
hell a
billion
glass of
film
water. It was
easily.
so good. It was like refreshing. And you know that's the thing that bothers me. It was more Deadpool, but more Deadpool compared to what they've been feeding us for the past couple of years was like a massive change. Like, wow, this is actually a refreshing take on things.
It just goes to show you that when these movies fail and don't make money, for anyone to say, "Oh, it's just superhero fatigue," no, people aren't tired of seeing fucking. We've had superheroes since the fucking 30s, bro. In
Right.
some
We're
type
just
of
tired- we're just
capacity, whether
tired
it's
of terrible
comics or
superhero
TV
movies.
or movies, people have fatigue of
We don't
fucking
want shit
bullshit
movies.
garbage
Just
movies.
don't shit
Like the
movies.
Marvels. Sorry, the Marvels fucking suck dick.
Yeah, it was fairly.
Actually, the Marvels is not that bad.
No, it's not. Thor:
It's
Love
not
and
bad,
Thunder
but
was
it's just
worse.
bland.
Can I pull?
But-
Can I
but
pull
it just
the
weren't
box
great.
office
Well,
report?
you know, take your pick. Quantum Mania was a fucking joke.
Quantumania wasn't
It
good.
was a
Yeah.
shit show. Yeah.
Doctor
The Marvels
Strange was a
wasn't
piece of
terrible.
shit. You know,
I mean, post Endgame, it's really just Guardians 3. That's the only one that was-
Of the worst ones I've seen so far, Love and Thunder is probably lowest on my list. I hate
Oh,
Love
that
and
is
Thunder.
the worst
Hey,
MCU movie I've ever fucking seen.
Actually, that and the Eternals. The Eternals was fucking
The
miserable.
Eternals
my
also.
God.
The Eternals
I-
didn't even really was part of the
went
MCU.
on and fucking
It felt like it was
on.
just it went on
It was a-
forever. And listen,
It was a
dude,
fucking.
it had
boring
Salma
piece of
Hayek
shit.
in it, bro. That's all you need to get me to fucking be
And-
on
yeah,
board. And
yeah.
even that wasn't enough to save the goddamn movie for
It was
me.
a terrible movie. Yeah, they they're caught up in all.
I have a
the-
story
Didn't
about the
feel like- It
Immortals.
didn't feel like an MCU film at all.
Nothing did.
It just felt like its
I have
own
a story
fucking
about the
thing.
Immortals, guys.
What's
Go
that?
ahead.
I went to watch it with my family.
Yes.
My 10-year-old who slops up anything
Any Marvel, any comic.
that has Marvel on it.
Yeah.
When we left, he was like, "Dad, that was so bad.
No, but
Please,
Mm.
let's not watch Marvel movies anymore. I think they suck now." I was like, "No, son, it's not that bad." He's like, "No, I think they all
You don't
suck now."
understand, Dad. No.
The
I'm
same
telling
way I used to love all of them, and now I think they all,
They all
like
suck.
starting from today,
Yeah.
they all suck. I was like, dude, if you can get this kid to say it's bad, must be really bad.
yeah,
And then
I
that
mean,
fucking scene at the end where the fucking Celestials are merging out of the core of the Earth. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
even though you stopped him, we're all dead. That's it. The planet's dead. Like,
exactly.
you can't fucking have this giant growing in the center of the Earth emerging from the fucking the core, and then it stops. But that's it. Like everything, there was no fucking tsunamis.
No, but
There
don't
was no
forget that
nothing.
shit's still there in the middle of the fucking ocean. That shit is still hanging out there, and nobody's
There's
saying
just,
shit.
There's just giant fists sticking out of the ocean for no
Yeah.
goddamn reason.
Foolishness.
Exactly.
Foolishness.
It's like, yeah, we have a big ass statue coming out of the water here, but we ain't going to talk about that. We're going to go talk about some other irrelevant shit, you know?
Retcon that and get rid of that whole idea.
Listen,
because it was so
Eternals for
terrible.
me it's like what do you call it? The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull and Dial of Destiny. They don't exist. There's only 3 Indiana
Well, they
Jones
don't.
movies.
Actually,
Eternals is not part of the MCU
yeah.
for me.
I watched Dial of Destiny just last week. I found it okay. It was definitely better than Crystal Skull.
Oh, it was better than Crystal Skull, but I mean that's a very very low bar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
really
I mean-
exciting with him though, you know.
Yeah.
Movie.
Yeah. I mean, it just, I don't know. It's just like these, everyone seems to have forgotten how to make a movie.
I don't know. It just kind of, yeah, no.
Yeah,
Now,
well,
it's not that everybody forgot how to make a movie. It's that they just rather hire people that don't know how to make a movie.
That is the key. Yes, agreed. I
Right.
agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, heads
But
are
anyhow,
Yeah, but
so-
it's fine, you know, because they have the right skin color, so it's okay. We should.
Yeah,
hire them.
that's the big thing is you're getting directors and producers who aren't necessarily qualified for the project, but they check the particular
They check-
correct
they check
box
the
for
box.
that.
They
But
check the box.
especially
And that's
because
the
now they have mandates for certain things when they're produced where if you don't have the correct percentage of distribution of races and genders, you're not going to get that movie made. It's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah,
why are you
it's-
mandating who is making this film?
Yeah, Far QTube's correct. Yes, Guardians was good. You are right.
Guardians was a tearjerker.
Guardians was a fucking
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
Sad as
That
fuck. Yeah.
that is a trilogy that it stands tall
on its
compared
own.
to the other.
Stands on its
Yeah.
own, definitely. Yeah.
And
It's
that
sad-
goes to
it's sad
show
as-
you because all of them are B-list superheroes, if you want to call them that,
No,
right?
but
When nobody
before-
really knew
Before
who they
Guardians,
were.
when
Oh,
nobody knew they were making that, they're like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Like,
Yeah.
when we know
I
what
had
they
to look it
are.
up because I'd forgotten.
Yeah.
The only one I remembered was Nova, which was never in the fucking movies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I was like, where's Nova? But the key to that is they, in my opinion, knowing enough of the comics, I was kind of sad to see them leave this enormous thing out of the comics that would have tied directly into what they were doing in the entire MCU at the time. Which I don't know if anybody ever read the Infinity War comic books and the Infinity Gauntlet
No.
comics. Back in the day,
I
there was
did.
a character, yes. So there was a character called Adam Warlock, and Adam
Mhm.
Warlock
Yeah.
was the main character in the comics who fought Thanos. He was the one. And
He
so
was super underutilized in that
he
third
did-
movie.
He showed up
was-
in the third
he
movie
was
and he was
amazing.
nothing. It was terrible. It was
Yeah.
like, what the
He was almost like a comedy relief of
He
sorts,
was
right?
a joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so weird because they introduced him in the second movie like he was gonna be something big, and then
Yeah.
they just made him a big old joke.
And they kept making a big deal about how that dude got all buff and ripped and in shape to play Adam Warlock, and he was in the
And he
movie
was
for a
an
grand
absolute-
total of fucking 2 minutes.
It was like Thor: Love and Thunder. It was like, hey, let's make a joke out of it. It's like, what? No, don't
Yeah.
do. That's a good character. He was the one who actually defeats, and the reason that he defeats him, as opposed to everybody else in the universe, he could wear the Infinity Gauntlet. He took it, and he is the guardian of the Infinity Gauntlet, basically in the comic book forever, because he could hold it without it hurting him. He was the
Mhm.
only person in the universe could actually wield it. So he took it, and then he took all the stones, I think, later on, and spread them spread them everywhere to take the power away. But the whole point was the character was amazing. They like teased at it and were talking about it, and then they just did nothing with it. And I was like, fuck, man, it was terrible.
Now,
Anyway.
Guardians 3 wasn't all great. I mean, like, for example, I didn't really care for the what was the main villain antagonist, the grand evolutionary
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
When he fucking made that RoboCop joke about his face, though, that shit's great.
Oh no,
Yeah.
the fucking jokes are terrific. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah,
was-
I
it
just
was
don't
a
know.
good
The high evolutionary really didn't do
was a
anything for me,
perfect-
but the story was still compelling
yeah.
enough for me
Yeah.
to, care about it.
but it was the best thing that they'd made in years. and
Right.
it showed. I mean, it was like, what was it? Spider-Man No Way Home, and that
Mhm.
were the best two Marvel movies that have been since like Infinity or since Endgame.
It's
Those
the
are the best.
only things post in Endgame that have been worth a damn.
Worth a shit. Yeah, really worth a shit.
Yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
else.
But
is
with
just-
Guardians, I think a lot of the Guardians, it really has to do with James Gunn. Because think about it, James Gunn did all three Guardians. James Gunn did the second Suicide Squad, which was
which
way
was
better
good.
than
Oh,
Suicide
good.
Squad.
I love that.
He
was
also
funny.
did what the fuck's the show, the DC show that he did with the character from the Suicide Squad. What the fuck's
Oh,
his
he
name?
did Peacemaker.
Oh,
Peacemaker.
yeah, he did Peacemaker.
Peacemaker's
too.
fucking
Peacemaker's
excellent.
Hilarious. It's hilarious.
Oh my
That
god,
was
that's
a
such good
surprise
show.
hit.
It was-
Dude,
it was-
Peacemaker was so good.
But it was so stupid that Disney actually fired him because they just practically lost him to fucking DC because of that.
Mhm.
They didn't fire. I don't believe
Yeah.
they. Well, you mean? when they
Yeah,
originally
yeah.
fired him?
Because he made a pedophile joke like 20 years ago. They were
Oh,
like,
I remember.
"What? You did what?"
How dare you? How do you make a joke?
Well,
Gina
Yeah.
Carano states her opinion on something that's a matter of fact, and they're like, "Oh no, she can't be fucking doing it anymore. Get her out of here."
Yeah, no.
it's just, I don't know. It's
Gina,
just one-
Gina's hot too.
Oh fuck yeah!
Oh hell yeah!
Fuck yeah!
No, most
I
definitely.
actually disagree with that. but-
American Gladiators, man, she was a dime piece.
You disagree? Who Kelly? Kelly,
well,
I will never show up on your podcast again if that's your take.
take it back, Kelly.
Okay, I'll take it back.
Have you seen Gina? Mother,
Oh, don't let him
bro.
like that, Callie. Don't let him bully you like that. Jeez.
Hey, no,
No,
Callie's
she's
been saying
definitely
some off the wall shit, especially regarding Metal Gear Solid. So this is not the
Alright,
most
well, you weren't
caustic
here.
thing he said.
You
That
said Metal Gear Solid is
Gina's
derivative
not hot.
ass.
Who
You
the
weren't
fuck
here.
is hot?
I didn't
Kelly,
say that.
who's
I
hot?
didn't say that.
No. Now you're going to answer the question. Who's hot? Gina Carano is not hot. Who the hell is hot?
I don't personally think she's that. I don't think she's that hot.
Tell me who the fuck is hot,
He
bro.
wants to know who you think is hot now. He wants some comparison here, sir.
Well, okay. Who am I supposed to compare it to?
To who you think is hot.
Who do you-
Anybody?
Who- yeah.
Just in general?
Yeah, who do
Yeah,
you
who
think
do
is
you-
hot? That's all we're asking you.
Who's your crush? No.
Who's-
Oh, I guess Megan Fox.
There you
Oh, hey.
Eh,
Okay, Megan Fox is hotter, sure, but Megan Fox also has toes for thumbs.
Megan
Have you
Fox
seen her
does-
Yeah,
fucking
but
hands?
Megan
What?
Fox has been
What's wrong What's
what
wrong
was it
with
again?
you?
Machine Gun Kelly doll
Doesn't
already.
even
So.
squat. Also, she doesn't
Bro, did you
squat.
see when
Right.
Sean Strickland met Machine Gun Kelly and he's like, I can't
No.
talk to you, you're just like a fucking vampire, and he walked away.
4QTV says, 4QTube says, Sofia Vergara.
Sofia
yeah.
Vergara, yeah,
he's-
Sofia Vergara and Salma
Sophia,
Hayek.
who's that?
Sophia Vergara.
She's the girl from Modern Family,
The-
the
yeah,
Colombian
eh,
girl
Ed O'Neill's
with
wife.
the giant fucking rack.
Latino. Yes.
Yeah, she's
Oh,
hot.
yes.
Latina. She's not
Like,
Latina.
if you ever want to know what the hell the word MILF meant, you look up MILF and her photo would definitely be there. So
And the way she says Jay by saying yay,
Mm.
yay.
Yeah.
She can call me whatever she wants. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
All right,
can
so let's
milk
go.
around. my name
all
every
of
day.
them, including Gina, are fucking hot, Callie.
Agree,
This guy.
disagree.
All right, hey Jim,
Oh
how you
my-
doing, man? I've not
Kelly,
seen you in ages.
You
How's
are really-
how's
You're
everything?
really pushing it right now. You are pushing it right now.
Doing pretty
Okay,
good.
fine. Hot take.
Hey,
Okay,
Jim.
fine.
He's the only one threatening here. Don't worry, Kelly. It's okay. It's okay.
All right. So what you
Yeah, I'm
been
the
doing,
only one
Jim?
showing up to his podcast every fucking Sunday. So my threats actually have weight. All right.
Man,
I assume the jury's still out on that one.
You have anything to add about the Deadpool film, the new trailer that dropped, or the casting for Fantastic Four that came out this week?
No and no.
Okay, cool. All right, so the next topic, smaller topic. Before we get into the whole PlayStation and Xbox thing going on this week, I want to say I feel sorry for my Nintendo YouTuber fans there, because
you just got to go there every time, don't you?
I do, because like I really, my heart goes out to these poor guys. Like, I mean, I'm a Nintendo fan myself. I'm not gonna say anything, but these poor guys were like, oh my God, we're going to get a direct this week. They've been waiting on pins and needles for about a year and a half for Nintendo to get off their ass and announce the Switch 2 or whatever the fuck they're going to call it. And every week they're just pushing content. They're hyping up remakes and remasters and stuff like that. Like they're the next thing since sliced bread. And I mean, I feel bad because they're like, okay, yeah, we're going to get a direct this week. We're not going to get it. And then they're like, oh, we're not going to get a direct. We're getting a partner direct, which basically means that Nintendo's going to show off what any third parties are coming. Oh, Xbox is going to have a presentation on Thursday and it's going to coincide with Nintendo. And then Thursday went by and nothing. And then today they're like, yeah, it's going to come out today. They could do a shadow drop. And yeah, the only news that came out today were rumors that maybe the Switch 2 has been delayed to Q1
PlayStation
2024.
fanboys with the fucking secret showcase.
Yeah, it's what it is. It's content, grabbing for content. They're like, we need content, so I got to come up with something. So they speculate, and they've been speculating like this. If you followed any of those YouTubers, you know that a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them have been speculating about that kind of shit for years. Like, oh, there's going to be a direct, and it's not. And there's going to be a direct. They do it all the time.
State of play all over again.
Yeah.
This is not a new thing. This is an old
We're
thing.
still
We've been doing
waiting
it
for
a long
that
time.
one.
No, but you do sort of feel sorry for these guys, right? Like, you know, like
A little bit, but they are doing it to
No,
themselves. They're
we
trying
don't.
to create content, and there's nothing there, so they're like, "We're gonna make it
Yeah,
happen."
you chose to fucking have your entire channel revolve around that one company. Like, have it revolve around all the companies, and you won't have that fucking problem. They're trying to cater to one audience. Now your audience doesn't have anything to fucking talk about. That's your problem, bro.
So you don't have much content to do.
Well,
yeah.
you know, they're hyping up this game called Mario versus Donkey Kong, which was like a old
remake.
DS game.
It's a
Yeah, and it's a
remake.
remake of that game. And
Yeah,
it's fine.
they added like 2 levels.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's fine. It's just not anything not anything really mind blowing at all. It's what it is.
Yeah, just like when they did that Zelda game that was a remake of the Game Boy game. Like, it's a fun game, but it's not like, holy fuck, you need to get a Switch to go play this fucking Zelda remake game from a Game Boy. Like, nobody cares.
Right.
They need their next Tears of the Kingdom, but they don't get those really every year.
And they need the next Mario. They need something. They're waiting for Nintendo to say, okay, here it
Metroid
is.
Prime 4. Just give them their fucking Metroid Prime that they've been begging for fucking years. Like, I don't see what the problem is.
Only Nintendo can do this, can tether along people like that. It's
They're not the only
sad.
one. They're not the only ones. There's plenty
Yeah.
of others. Plenty of people that follow along at other companies. Trust me.
And see, this sort of ties into the other stuff because, like, and I've been saying this, Nintendo is sort of like operates on its own path. You know, that they make so much money off of franchising that, like, the games are a means to an end to increase their franchising. I feel right now. It's like, is gaming their priority? Yeah, but not because they do want to sell games, but they're also more interested in taking those IPs and making movies and making backpacks and
Man, they got
doing
fucking
all sorts of
theme
shit with
parks
it.
now,
But-
bro.
Yeah,
to be fair,
theme
that's the only
parks.
thing they're in. So it's like that's the only thing they have to focus on. I mean, yeah, they have the theme parks, but that's really more of a partnership with Universal than anything.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's just one of those things that, like, I don't know. We always talk about, like, the state of the industry, and we talk about Sony and Microsoft. And I really do believe that, like, we should not include Nintendo because Nintendo is just sort of like off into left field. And I don't think they're ever coming back this way anytime
Wize works
soon.
for the FTC.
Yeah,
I
they
mean-
don't need to, man. They're
Yeah.
happy doing what they're doing. They're happy not trying to compete with the other companies and the other platforms for their use. They have their own section of users that
I mean,
aren't
the
being taken
industry
away.
is kind of coming after them with like the Steam Deck and all those other portable consoles now. So it's like they do have a fair bit of competition now.
Yeah, but they're still not going to get the competition that they need because the Steam Deck is never going to get the IPs that Nintendo is going to have on their platform.
Right, and
period.
that's the major difference. If the Steam Deck was getting the Nintendo games, then it would be a competitor. Like, they
Right.
operate in the same space, but they're not competing with one another.
Right. I mean, it's more of a, like, okay, a Me Too type situation. Yeah, can you play your Nintendo games on the go and at home? Yes. But now with the Steam Deck, you can do that with your PlayStation games and your Xbox games and your Steam games and whatever have you, you know? So, yeah. And to be honest with you, a Nintendo IP is a Nintendo IP and it withstands the test of time. And yeah, none of them have it. And Nintendo knows that. So, yeah, cool. All right. Anybody else have anything to say about this whole Nintendo fiasco going on for the poor guys?
Yeah, fuck them.
All right. Cool.
I have
Okay,
something
so-
to say. The
Yes.
Nintendo fans that are struggling right now shouldn't be struggling. You're Nintendo fans. You're used to this abuse. What's wrong with you?
You're used to this.
Listen, you don't understand why. If they don't get another character added to fucking Super Smash
Smash
Brothers, they're gonna start taking lives, bro.
Or a new track added to Mario Kart 8 or something like that, you know? So, no, I mean, it's
Some
like,
obscure character no one's even fucking heard of in 80 years will be a new character.
and no, the icing on the cake was like they were waiting for some news for the Nintendo Switch too, because they're like, okay, if Nintendo's not going to say anything, then one of our leakers who are not really reliable, they might say something, right? And then the leakers all come back this week and say, yeah, Nintendo may have delayed the console till Q1 2025.
Jesus
And I feel
Christ.
so bad for that. I'm like, oh my God, the one thing that they've been like holding on to hope for, and that thing ain't coming out till next year, you know? So I don't know. You have to feel pitiful.
I
for 'em.
think it's probably because like Nintendo sees that the sales of the Switch are slowing, but not slowing by a lot. Like they're still selling a lot of Switches. So I think they're probably looking at, dude, why are we going to introduce a new Switch now? We're still selling a fuck ton of Switches.
Yep.
We'll wait a couple of years longer, sell as many fucking things we can, then we'll introduce the Super Nintendo Switch, which better be the goddamn name for the next one, and do it at that time. Like there's no real reason to launch a new one now because they're still selling the regular
they
one.
do kind of need it. Their games are kind of showing that like they're kind of
100%. But
Shit. No.
but they're still moving the software and they're still moving the hardware. So even though people are like, oh, the games look like shit, and the hardware was dated when it came out 8 fucking years ago, they're still selling them.
It's not that the games necessarily look like shit. It's that there are no other third-party games that could ever even be brought onto it at the moment because they can't run. So they need something to actually run third-party games and bring that back into the mix.
We're also just going to end up in the same situation that we were with the Wii, where it wasn't getting any third-party support.
Yeah, it just dropped off because everybody left it behind, and they're like, they couldn't even do high-definition content in the Wii. They were like, oh yeah, it's 40K.
Look, they are on the brink of becoming the best-selling console of all time. Without third-party support.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
and I think that's what they're actually waiting for. I think the holder of the
you're probably
crown
right. Yeah. They want that fucking title.
Yeah,
they want to take it away from PS2 so badly.
Right, exactly, and they're close. They want to
whip their dick out and slap it on the table and be like, "Booyah, bitches! We started off as a fucking playing card company."
Yeah,
I think that they are sitting at 140 million consoles sold.
139.3 right now. Oh, well, as of December 31st.
139. I think it's close to 140 now. 140 something.
It's probably 140.
Another 6 months and they've got it. Like there's
and I think that's what they're waiting for. I think that they're waiting for that crown.
140 something now. I mean, and I don't blame them, dude. Like that is
going to actually reach that goal. That's just me though.
I think at the rate that they're still selling, I think if it's 2025 for the next Switch, easily.
Well,
it's not like the Switch. It's not like the Switch 2 comes out and the Switch stopped being sold. It's
of course, that's the other thing.
So yeah,
and
it'll make it.
The existing Switch gets a price cut, and then boom, they've got it.
Yeah, 150 and PlayStation 2. So.
The other side of it is if they look at if they want to look at like even because they tend to always reintroduce the games every time they introduce a new model. So for them, it's a little bit of a balancing act. Do we keep making, staying in the same level with the games, or do we, if we want to move up, we're going to release a new console? And like you said it's 7 years old or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, even they got to be thinking about that. It's about time to go, move, to the next level.
Well, that chip is not 7 years old. That chip is 9 years old because it was that chip was 2 years old before when the Switch first came out, right?
Well, and that's a little bit of what happens with all the consoles, though.
Well, it's a fucking glorified Casio fucking watch calculator.
Yeah, that's one thing that happens with
It was an NVIDIA Shield. It was made.
Yeah,
for the NVIDIA
wow.
Shield. That's what it was made for in 2014. It is 10 years old.
Oh, it's 10.
I mean,
10 years old. That processor was 10 years old.
Go shake some motherfuckers' hands over there at Nintendo, because imagine trying to do that, to have such outdated hardware and to have it sell as well as it did at the price point that they have it at, with no fucking reduction in almost a goddamn decade. Go shake some goddamn hands.
Let me just say, part of the reason that works is they don't push that hardware to, beyond its limits. They're where Xbox and Sony, they're always trying to push to the next level. Nintendo has pretty much settled. Yeah, they've settled where they're at. They're comfortable there, so they're not pushing their hardware beyond what it can do or trying to.
The last time that they were pushing really was the GameCube. Essentially, that was the last time they were competing in the same market. So and then from that point on, they basically, if you know the whole history real quick, is from GameCube to Wii. The Wii is the GameCube. The hardware is identical. That's why it can play GameCube games in the Wii, because it's the same fucking processor setup.
And the original ones, anyway, because then they removed that feature in the later versions of the Wii.
In the Wii U, they removed the feature. The Wii's all could play GameCube games because it was a fucking GameCube. It was a GameCube.
It was a GameCube in a box. Yeah. Well, I mean,
a different package. They brought out a new system.
GameCube in a box.
All they really sold was a new
Even a
control
box, girl.
mechanism. They didn't sell a new console. It's a new looking console, but it was the fucking GameCube. So that's why. Anyway, that's why they were able to do that.
I mean, technically, the Wii U was a step back to trying to compete, but they were just competing with the PS3 and 360 at that point.
The Wii U was a mistake in so many ways, but it was essentially they took the Wii and the Switch, and they were like trying to come up with a way to do it, and they fucked it up in that way. But they decided, oh, it's part way the right direction. That's why the Switch ended up being what it was. Is the gamepad. The gamepad is what the Switch or the Wii U should have been. What the Switch is. I mean, that's what it should have been eventually.
It was also
I
a
think
name
the
that
Wii
was
U,
very,
though,
very
was great.
confusing to
I-
consumers.
The
I
Wii was a
mean-
good system, but it was just
asymmetric gameplay on one console.
it was hard.
Well,
No,
I
that
think
was cool. Being able to like play games that incorporated those sorts of features.
It was kind
Also,
crazy.
the
Yeah,
fact that
it was also cool to be playing a game and then look down at your controller and have like the virtual map on the
Mhm.
controller.
Oh,
Like, that's
no.
a cool idea, man.
I have. Oh yeah, exactly.
But one other thing is like if Nintendo's been never guilty of something, they have been guilty of not being able to read the room as well. Because the Switch came out. And the Wii came out and it became very successful. And then they followed it up with the Wii U, but they didn't see the writing on the wall that they thought that they're going to get the same grandparents and everybody else on the Wii U bandwagon as well. Whereas they didn't realize that, hey, well, wait a minute. When you sold the Wii, the only thing those grandparents wanted was Wii Sports, which was the pack-in game. And they didn't buy anything else after that. They just bought that
to
console
be
for Wii
fair,
Sports.
the Wii U did have games that sold significantly, amazingly well.
They sold really well, but the consoles didn't sell well at all.
Yeah.
So consoles
But
was
if you look at
terrible
the numbers for how much the console sold,
Yeah.
like Sony or
There's
Xbox
12
could never dream of that.
Well, there was
Yeah.
12 million consoles, I think, is all they ever sold of the Wii.
Yes.
That was the number of consoles. And games that they sold for it were like 7 and 8 million copies of games. So they sold tons of them.
That's actually a pretty good attachment rate. That's actually a really
And
good
that was
attachment rate.
actually how
It's
Splatoon
incredible.
got its success.
Yeah.
But the key is they fucked up with the name.
Yeah.
And people
Yeah.
were so confused. They were like, "Oh, I already have a Wii. Why do I need another one?"
No, but and also remember, they never showed the console itself. They just showed the gamepad, so people thought
they showed the
That's it.
console, but and they had it. I was at displays when they were like previewing it, like Best Buy, and people would literally say, I was standing there, and they were like, "Oh, is that a new controller for the Wii?" And that's all they ever said.
Yeah,
And the
it
parents walked
looks
by.
and sounds like a peripheral.
Yeah, and we're like,
100%.
whoa, no, that's a new console, and they're like, what? No, it's
they
just
should have
a-
called it Wii
Nobody
2
knew.
instead of Wii U.
They should have dropped the Wii name, but they wanted it to sound the same, like DS, 3DS. They were stuck on that for that time, so that's what happened. But yeah,
So
They could
there's
call
also
they'll call it the Wii
And even with
Wii.
that
Call it the Wii
handicap,
Wii.
We
Even with that handicap, it's still
About to go home and play my Wii Wii.
no, but also there is a little degree of nervousness in them because every time they followed the console that came after a very successful one has not done well for them.
or is it bad? Is it? Yeah. Well,
So they're probably like, yeah, we
not
got
true.
140 in the paint right now.
you don't know about that. Yeah, the NES, the Super NES, the
SNES,
N64, and the
N64.
GameCube. That's 4 successes. Yeah.
No,
so,
N64
Successes.
The DS was also a success too. Or
Right.
I mean,
I said NES, Super NES, N64, and GameCube.
And no,
those are all
N64
successful.
did not do as well, and it did not do as well because
As the
remember,
Super Nintendo-
Well, no,
as the Super Nintendo, but it still did
That's
pretty
because
damn well.
PlayStation was out at that time, and that's when PlayStation started taking over market share. But it was still successful.
yeah. But then the GameCube definitely wasn't. It sold less than even those N64 did, so it wasn't that well. And of course, we know what happened,
Yeah.
the debacle with the Wii U as well. So,
Oh, yeah.
but yeah, they're not hurting. If a company can sell fucking cardboard and make money, yeah, there's not much to worry about with your user base.
only Nintendo, man.
Only fucking Nintendo. And you know what? My kids wanted it, and we bought it. We bought the robot one, and we bought the piano one. I think that was the one that they wanted. So yeah.
You could have just bought that shit and made it yourself.
In fucking hindsight, that was a better idea, right? Than that god awful money that I paid for that shit. You know, like I paid for it. I'm like, God dang, I'm paying this much money for
Again,
fucking cardboard.
Shake some hands over there at fucking Nintendo. The goddamn motherfuckers are geniuses.
selling cardboard for fucking consoles.
Exactly. It's like, oh my god. And then they made you assemble the shit together yourself, and that was
Right?
like,
That was part of the fun, buddy. Come on.
Slave
Yeah.
labor simulator.
all right.
China
So
problem
anyhow,
solved?
let's go on to the main topics. Let's go ahead and sort of talk about them in unison because they sort of are like sort of linked and tethered. So both Xbox and PlayStation had a talk this week to people. I guess the financials came out for PlayStation, so they were reporting on that. And
Wait,
Xbox.
PlayStation spoke.
When was
Well-
PlayStation's talk? I didn't hear anything about PlayStation.
They had an article. I don't think they actually had a
Oh,
talk.
okay.
It was,
Oh,
but the
okay.
CEO
That
said
sounds like
the
PlayStation.
CEO made some statements. That's
He
what he's
made
going to
some
talk about.
statements,
Yeah.
Yeah, so the CEO basically came on and said, basically, yeah, we're doing okay, but we're not. These guys are good at making games, but they're not good at making money off of those games, basically. And we can see a future where our games are sort of now more available on other platforms. Now, it's okay. Full disclosure, he did not say platforms. He may have, when he was saying platforms, he was probably talking about the PC, but
That's what
he
I
wa-
think. I think the quote was specifically other platforms such as personal computers or something like that. So he
Right.
specified PC.
Yeah, but yeah, so he was like basically hinting at the fact that, hey, maybe they need to start putting more games day and date on other platforms, i.e. PC. And that happened the day before Microsoft had their big, business meeting
Financial
on
report
Thursday.
in-
Yeah, the
in-
big financial
Their
meeting on
big
Thursday.
waste of everyone's time.
Yeah, pretty much. They could have done a fucking press release.
I could
It
tell
could have
you.
been an
Could have been a
email.
blog post.
No shit.
I could have been an email.
Or a fucking tweet.
No, they made a
let
blog
everyone
post right
fucking
after that.
Run,
They made a
run
blog
wild
post
with rumors for
What was the
fucking
point
2
then?
weeks.
It was a circle jerk. It was sitting there talking about how amazing they were and saying like you said, 2 sentences, and they
Mhm.
let it go on forever. What was it 45 fucking minutes or something? I don't know.
Mhm.
No,
was
it was
22.
28
Relax,
minutes.
relax.
and,
Not like 45
Relax. It was
fucking minutes.
22.
Jesus. It kept
It
going.
was
No, no, I'm
20.
glad I didn't see
I'm
that
there
shit.
like, how did
I
you
kept
get
skipping ahead. I'm like,
22,
when are you gonna
25?
fucking say something
I
interesting?
put that shit in 2 times speed, so I didn't miss anything. I tend to listen.
Triple
to
with the
you
life
as
hack
it
right
is.
there.
Now, I mean, you heard all of this bullshit. You heard like people saying that Sarah Bond said every screen is an Xbox to their developers or something, and then she came in and said something totally starkly different. They did say that they are bringing 4 games. They did not announce those 4 games, but it pretty much
I was
well.
like, what the fuck?
I could tell you.
I was like, why are
what
we
I
here,
will.
Phil?
I
Why the fuck
hate
are we here?
that. Like, I
why
know
not
he
say
said
the
they
name
got
of the
their
game,
whole
man?
rollout plan, but I'm just like,
Just fucking tell us.
yeah, just
Good
tell us,
God.
dog.
No, he said, these guys who are bringing these games over to the other platforms, they have their own announcements scheduled, and we do not want to take anything away from these developers.
Just
What the
tell
fuck
us.
Like, are you in
talking
charge
about?
over there, Phil?
They work
Are
for
you the
you.
one in charge or not?
Let me speak to that real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't know for sure, but part of that could be the contracts may not be dried yet on all 4 of those games for whatever reason, and
Then
for
don't
whatever.
mention them.
Well, no, because the news was already out that games were going out, so they gave you some basic information. 2 of them are going to be, the live service things, and 2 of them are going to be older games, more than a year old or a year, and that are going to talk about, and they're going to go to games that will niche games that will be served well by having a wider audience.
So the prevailing rumor, and Paul, do you agree with it, is that the 4 games in question are Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and what was the 4th one? It was
Redfall.
which one?
So it's Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, Grounded, and Sea of Thieves is what people
Grounded,
say.
yeah.
yeah,
Grounded.
those are the 4. Those are the 4 that are getting the most talk. Yeah,
Yeah. So again, no confirmation, but
right.
That's
Yeah.
the best one.
The one that's floated the most has been since the beginning of all of this has been Sea of
Hi-Fi.
Thieves
Well, I thought
and Hi-Fi Rush and Hi-Fi
Hi-Fi
Rush.
Rush.
Those 2.
Because
Those
especially
2,
because
yeah.
the data mine.
And that
Yeah.
actually makes perfect sense. And honestly, nothing
Right.
there's groundbreaking. It's like, oh my God. It's no.
Yeah.
No,
Okay,
but they all fit the descriptions, obviously, of what like we're playing a fucking game, right? He's like a game show. It's like, ooh, it meets this qualification, it meets that qualification.
Yeah.
It could be this game.
Well,
So it meets the description, but he said there that the whole point of this was to have games
It's
that
a
get
testing phase.
people excited for
Oh,
Xbox.
well,
I don't know if these are the games that are going to do that.
No.
Sea of Thieves.
They specify
See,
exactly what it is. It's just a testing phase. Like
Right.
they PR spin to say, hey, we're trying to get people interested in Xbox. Like, nah, if they do well, you're gonna bring more games over. Like,
they're
Oh
probably-
yeah, this is a giant virtual version of Just the Tip. It's like, listen, I know you don't want it in your ass, baby. Just a tip, baby. Just a tip, right? You get the tip in there, and it's like, see, baby, that wasn't so bad. You're like, no, it wasn't. All right, baby, here comes another inch. Ready, baby? Here it comes. Here it comes. And that's all
Oh
it
my
is. This is a virtual
goodness.
version of Just the Tip.
This show is messy.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
comparison, man.
Walking us through the steps.
I
Okay.
pointed out before the show that having games going from exclusive to wide to more consoles is nothing new. I mean, we watched it happen with MLB 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever.
Well, the MO.
It's
Yeah,
been
but that was
going-
also MLB.
That was
twisted
different.
PlayStation.
but it's really no different. So
not
they
true.
they already know how the games may or may not be
Why is
be
it? Quick,
accepted.
Take a drink. I'm sorry.
Oh, did he freeze? Oh
No,
crap!
no, he
finally
No,
left.
Share.
Oh.
This is
Oh.
Wise.
His smoke alarm went
off.
off. He's burning the chicky nuggies.
Oh, his kid tried to turn the oven on, but
Why
I
is
mean,
it look like
but
This show has been brought to you by Wise's chair. Something like
Yeah.
that.
secret lab?
I think especially Sea of Thieves is a good fit. I've always said, and I've said it on this show, that any of the games that are like online multiplayer, are served well by having a wider player base.
But then you get into the weeds of like Gears and Halo, and which are like.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I
for
don't.
the console.
I think we're a long way from any of that.
Oh,
So
No,
that's-
but I'm just saying, like with that thought process, like
Yeah.
that's all.
well,
Those
but
make
but
sense.
but
It's like if you want a live service game, Paul. Honestly, if you want a live service Xbox game that's going to generate some excitement in Xbox, like that, Halo Infinite's multiplayer is easily probably one of those things.
That'll
But
do
that's,
it.
right,
that's not one of those.
but see, they also know that they do need to. Even though Phil did say, and I can read you the exact quote because I actually ended up transcribing it for people. What Phil said about in 5-10 years he can see exclusives being a smaller and smaller part of any consoles.
Well, except for Nintendo.
Well, yeah, except for Nintendo. Yeah. But
Game Boys don't mess around.
yeah, but I do think that they are going to hang on to some of their pillars as people have been calling them.
Yeah, Halo would be
Yeah, of
one of those
course.
Gears of War. I would
Yeah.
say that the whole thing with Sea of Thieves that strikes me. Sea of Thieves seems the closest as far as what Microsoft currently makes that is akin to a Fortnite kind of experience for the larger market as far as outside of the ecosystem.
Yeah,
I think that
and they've been pulling in IPs into Thieves that draw interest, like
Yeah,
the whole
and-
thing with
and
the Pirates of the
Pirates of the
Caribbean.
Caribbean.
It reminds me a lot, and Monkey Island. It reminds me a lot of
Yeah.
what Fortnite kind of appeals to, and I think if it's done that way and they start making more deals, I could see them using it for that method or for that reasoning and making money that way.
Yep.
Not that it's the first IP that they've shared. That would be Minecraft.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody. That's
They
the
have
first
even Pinata on Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
No,
well,
but as far as multiplayer making big bank, Minecraft is
Well, it was the first. It was the first one.
Best
of
selling
the
game
in
acquisitions
fucking
that went
history.
everywhere and stayed everywhere.
Yeah.
They went everywhere. So yeah, anybody talking about them not used to doing
And
it? they've been
millions
doing
of
it
people
for
had
years.
that shit on their cell phones before it was even on console.
No, before the ink was ever dried on that deal. I totally get it, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They brought it to like the to the Switch, to every PlayStation console. They didn't like
I
back
think-
away and go, we're gonna keep it.
I think the main thing here is that it's less about this is a new strategy for them. It's the fact that years you're saying this is about getting exclusive content for Xbox. So yeah, you said you can reference Minecraft and maybe Ori or Cuphead, for example. But it's the problem that a lot of people have said. Their messaging is just all over the place. Like you say, oh, yeah, this is for exclusives, but this is also for growing the brand outside of the console. So almost like, well,
Phil,
But
Phil's
yeah, I
always
guess
been over
I don't understand the idea that you can't have a little bit of A and a little bit of B. I really don't. If you
oh
want
no,
to-
so people are
if you-
saying
if-
we can.
if you want,
I think the problem is just with the messaging that people
Yeah,
are
it's
kind
the
of tired
messaging.
of. They
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
want something-
of course you can, Paul. But on one hand, Phil will say that exclusive should be everywhere or shouldn't exist, and more people playing is better. And then he'll be like, "Oh, we need to get exclusives for our Xbox people." It's like, well, which is it, Phil?
but no, that's what. Okay, damn it, you're gonna make me read the whole damn quote, aren't you? Because
Please do, sir.
because I mean, he spoke to that. I think
Or I
here-
could just send Wize the video that I edited.
here's
with
the
all the key
yeah.
points.
Don't
Okay,
speak.
yeah, because here's the here's where I think what we're seeing
not?
is, remember how we've always said Xbox has always been a little forward thinking. Sometimes they try to jump into something
Too forward
before.
thinking.
So yeah, they try to jump into stuff before the public or whatever or the industry is ready to do it. I think this
Xbox
is a
One.
little bit of what we're seeing. Yeah,
But
yeah.
let me ask a
Xbox
general
One.
question, though.
Oh,
Let me
well,
ask a
yeah,
general
Paul,
question for those.
He also recently made a comment about Helldivers, and he said that he would love to have Helldivers on Xbox, and he doesn't understand who
says-
wins by Helldivers being just on PlayStation. And it's like, well, you could take that mentality and flip it around to any exclusive on your console or any exclusive on any console.
Again,
And this
Helldivers. Again, Helldivers is a massively multiplayer game that fits into what I was just talking about. That
I don't see how that matters.
And more faces, more players in the game is better for the game, and it's better for
Right?
the
Okay,
companies involved.
but that's not what I'm trying to debate.
And Helldivers is not a pillar of Sony. You think Helldivers, you don't go, oh, that's a PlayStation.
We don't
game.
need more people. The servers are struggling as it is.
But
Well,
my
that-
question is this:
They
like,
can't handle it.
That's a good point.
Well, no,
It's
that's
just
a growth
for me,
thing with any
Paul,
new launch. That's a growth thing with any new launch.
And again, people can feel however they feel about it, but for me, I feel like Phil says a lot of things where it's like you are throwing out competing philosophies. And yes, some people can have a little bit of A and a little bit of B, but you can't be like, oh, this is the good thing, and then the other hand say, oh no, this is the good thing. I just feel like Phil does a lot of that, where he'll say one thing and then say something that completely is the opposite of what he just said.
No, I don't see that. I don't see that. I
Well,
do see a lot of the game. I do see a lot of the game by game thing that he said when they took in Bethesda, that it's going to be a game by game decision. So you're definitely going to get a little bit of A and a little bit of B
I
there.
get that, Paul. He
I'd like
has
a
said
little
in the
bit of A,
past that exclusives are counter to what gaming is all about.
That was in the past. So that's what I'm saying. They're
Well,
allowed
surely-
they're allowed to
let me say this,
change.
let me ask this: anybody who is championing, okay, let me ask you this: anybody who is championing exclusives over a year, I don't know what benefit that is. In the sense that
Right.
even if it's a
I don't either.
tentpole,
That's
like, okay, let's call it. Let me ask a question, and this is for anybody. Why is it a bad thing that, say, a year and a half after Spider-Man came out for the PlayStation 4, it found its way onto Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo if it could run the damn thing? But yeah, I mean, like, what is wrong with that?
It's
I
not a
don't
bad
understand
thing.
that.
It's not a bad thing.
It's not.
It's
okay.
just I
It's
feel
it's
at least
about
for a lot of-
cost.
yeah,
It's about
being
cost.
upfront. It's being upfront. Yeah.
Most people
Right.
cannot afford what we have. All right. Most people will afford one console per generation.
Right?
When you do what Xbox is proposing, what people understand, the majority of people understand. I'm not talking about anyone here. What people understand from that is, I don't need to buy an Xbox
Mhm.
because I was split before, because I was like, there's exclusives on Xbox, there's exclusives on PlayStation. What am I gonna do? When you put the games on PlayStation, you're telling people, go ahead and buy your PlayStation. The only thing that's going to change is that you're not going to be able to play the Xbox games when they come out. But the good thing, right, is that video games are not fruit. They're not food. They're not a perishable good. What happens is, when Gears of War finally comes to PlayStation, you'll get to play it.
And
But when
but see, we don't know that it ever will. They've never said all of their stuff is going to be going multi-plat. That's part of the misunderstanding.
But it just answers what Wize was saying. What's the problem with time exclusivity and speaking of hypotheticals? That's exactly what Loke is speaking to. Is if it were to come like a year later, for example. But
yeah, it wouldn't damage anyone.
Well, you see, and that's what I'm saying. So, say for example, like and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, okay? So, let's say they put somebody has a only Xbox or only Nintendo. Okay, let's pull Xbox out of the equation. Let's put Nintendo into the equation, assuming that the game would run. So, let's say they release Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4.
Bro.
Well, yeah, but I mean, just follow.
Okay, and Spider-Man, we already kind of know what the reaction would be because when Spider-Man got dropped on PC, look at all the pushback they got.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay, so say for example, they make the game, and a year and a half later they bring it to the Switch. Now there's a person who only has a Switch, and they're like, "Oh my God, I heard so many good things about it," and they play it, and then they're like, "Oh my God, this is a really good game." Then PlayStation announces Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 5 or whatever, and then now they're like, "Oh, okay, I remember playing Spider-Man, the original game on the Switch. I want to be there day and date when this sucker drops." Immediately, so that would help them.
I mean, or they'll say, you know what? I know I'm gonna get that Spider-Man game on my Switch 2 in a couple of years.
Or they can do that, or they could say, "Oh, I could wait a couple of years and get it," or they could say, "Well, no, I want to play it now."
The problem, I think the problem with
buying a full system. There's Cozy. Cozy always says it. No one's buying a full system for one game.
That's not true.
Games or 3 games.
That is not that I disagree with. I have to push back. There are a lot of people who just buy a console for one game. Okay.
I also think Wize there's a difference between the games going to PC, which is not really even though it's the same type of thing, it's not in the console space. Like Xbox games going to PC,
it's a different device.
PlayStation games going to PC, okay, but those games going to each other, they are 100% competing platforms. Like I don't see what the benefit for either of them to put their games on each other.
Well, I mean, okay, so we can say that the money that these companies are making is on their game. They're not making any money on the console. The console is just a vector for you to buy the game, right? You would say that, right? Now you release the game day and date on your platform. You make 30 million sales, okay, whatever you do, 20 million sales. A year and a half later, those who wanted to play that game on your console have already played it. Okay, you're not getting double dipping or anything like that. All right, but now you've got this whole other console base that you have not even explored yet. Now getting access to the game, who are now you're putting eyes on your console by saying, okay, look at the types of games that we have on our console. So when the next iteration comes out, the person will be like, okay, I really loved God of War or whatever. I want to be there when the God of War 3 launches day and date on PlayStation 5 Pro or 6 or whatever you want to call it. And they will buy it. People will buy it. People have done it before.
I thought that way. Like when games were going to PC for PlayStation, and I was like, oh, I didn't like it, but then I was like, well, maybe they're doing it because they think that we'll let PC guys play Spider-Man, for example, and then when Spider-Man 2 comes out, they're going to get a PS5. All the guys I know that are PC players are like, no, fuck that. We're not buying PS5s. We are more than happy to wait a year to play Spider-Man 2 on PC. And when we get it's going to get better version.
You're talking about
of the game.
You cannot disagree that there are probably, as much as you have people who are PC guys who are only going to buy the game when it comes out on PC, there are a certain faction of people who will say, okay, I love the game to the point where I don't mind buying the console for the next iteration.
But the majority will not buy the console. It's why PlayStation and Xbox are pivoting. We cannot assume that we have more information than they do. They've made the analysis, they've made the studies, and they've come to the same conclusion.
And
put the damn thing on PC because ain't nobody gonna buy a PS5 just because of God of War. No one's going to buy an Xbox just because of Halo.
Though Phil did. Hang on. Phil actually did say one of the statements he made was about if you're getting more eyes on and getting more interest in Xbox through putting these games on other consoles. He
I
actually
think-
spoke to that the other day.
I
That's
think
one of the
one of the
things.
things. Hold on.
Remember,
Let's- hold on.
since you did the-
With Xbox, one of the things that they're going on too is that, hey, if you say I love Sea of Thieves and Sea of Thieves 2 came out and it didn't come to Xbox or PlayStation, I mean, well, they still have the cloud version available to other people. So you can still have your PlayStation, but hey, maybe your Samsung TV.
Yeah,
is
that's
really
part of the
able to
screens
support it.
everywhere thing. That's part
Yeah,
of the
so
screens
in
everywhere
that
thing.
for that situation, I understand. But if we're speaking about Sony, who might be leaning towards selling the console because they don't put their games day and day in their subscription service, as someone's saying, it's not going to get someone to buy a PlayStation console. Whereas again, Xbox is like, hey, you don't have to buy our console. You can sub to our Game Pass for 15 bucks.
I
a month.
admit it's a small minority, but there would be some that would say, "Hey, I really like what I saw there, and I do want to play it day and date." So, but it's not going to be a vast number, no. But it is going. There are going to be some.
So that's where.
If we have to bring up every exception, then no theory has merit.
No, but
because
no. Hang on.
existence
What I'm
has
saying
exceptions.
is you can never say none. Never. Nobody will buy that. You can't say that.
Of course,
Bro, that's why we come up with theories. When we say none, we always make space for the exceptions, but the exceptions are so minuscule, they're not worth bringing up.
I disagree, and apparently so do the gaming companies. So,
and the other thing is, when you build your company around these IPs and around these brands, to then have them go be someplace else, it to me it devalues that brand. It devalues those IPs.
How does it devalue your IP if you got more eyes on it? Like, so they have the numbers. They have the numbers. They know that they're, for example, let's just do with Xbox. Xbox knows the numbers. They know that in Japan, this thing is not selling, okay, for whatever reason, okay? They got an IP, Hi-Fi Rush. Let's just say that. They want to they own that IP, and they want residual income from that IP, be it franchising or whatever. If putting that game on a competing platform like the Switch will get it more eyes in a market that they don't have a console sales in.
I'm not saying that it won't get more eyes on those things. I'm not saying that it won't make those companies more money. What I'm saying is them not being for one platform, it makes that platform less special. They are the things that make that platform unique. The thing that makes that platform special.
It's
Once
less
upon
about.
a time, Halo was a game for old people.
Again, they're not.
Again, I think what you said earlier about the values of IP, you probably meant more towards the platform, specifically the console.
Right. Not the actual IP, but the platform.
Well, okay, but the console is a non-issue. Nobody's making money off the fucking console except for Nintendo.
I think what we're looking at is from the consumer side of things and less about Microsoft.
No, Xbox is now making money off the console. There's no way.
Nobody's making money. Besides Nintendo, nobody's making money off the console.
PlayStation's been making money off PS5s for like at least a year and a half, 2
dude,
years now.
No. It's not that they're not making money. Yeah, they got profit, but the profit that they have is so minuscule that it gets diversified into bonuses, paychecks.
So they are making money.
It's like a non-issue for their console. The console is a fucking write-off. It has always been from day one for the major two.
Well, if the consoles didn't matter, then both Xbox and PlayStation would not be making a next generation console and just become multi-platform developers.
They can't do that because the console is a vector for which they can sell the games. They got to sell the console, but the console is a mean to a fucking end. It's not that.
Yeah.
And
but again, that
kind
kind of goes back into like if you're trying to sell the console, you kind of need something to really sell the console with. And
they are.
You got your day-and-date exclusive.
They're never gonna put some of their pillars on all the.
Why?
Not everyone wants to play on PC.
Come on. Let's say hypothetically, we're in a world now where Xbox puts all their games on PlayStation.
Okay.
Not even day and date, but just a year later. A year later, not day and date. A year later, you're gonna get Indiana Jones 2. You'll get Halo fucking 17. You'll get all those games on your PlayStation 6. How many fucking next generation Xboxes do you think Xbox is gonna sell?
even if they don't sell even one, it doesn't matter if they can get out of that.
If it doesn't matter, then they don't need to make the Xbox can just exit the space and the PlayStation be the sole console. Or
They're not
PlayStation
going to
can
do
exit
that
the
though.
space, and then
Hypothetically or
Xbox
not,
be the
that's
sole
not going to happen.
console.
Hypothetically or not, that's not going to happen. You know that. I know
I'll
that.
even tell you this much:
Any-
if PlayStation
anybody-
can get out of the
anybody with
console,
a brain knows that.
My point is that if all we need is the console as a vessel, we only need one vessel. We don't need both
we only need one.
both to make the vessel.
but
But-
that's
But
what I'm
the
saying.
thing is, you want to make more money.
But
They want to make more money.
But neither of them are stepping out because they both want to sell consoles.
They want
I
to sell
think-
consoles because they want to sell games, Super. They don't want
But
to
if
sell
there's
consoles
if
because
there
they want to
was
sell
only
consoles.
one, if there was only one console, if there was only one PlayStation or only one Xbox, they would still be selling their games.
But it wouldn't
Again,
be selling
like-
them with maximum profit for them.
Exactly.
How about-
And they've shown that. I mean, they've shown that,
So
like,
so
look,
they
Alright, so
PlayStation
let-
has
let me- hold on,
also
hold on,
reps
hold on,
that
hold on.
they've
Alright.
not had.
Let me ask one more time because I don't think anyone actually answered that. From the consumer perspective, if you tell me that all the Xbox games are going to PlayStation a year later, and I'm just like, hey, I can say save me $500 and I'll just get a PlayStation and get that a year later, what's the value to me to say, yeah, I got the Xbox? Like, if all my stuff is going somewhere else a year later, aside from bragging rights to say, oh, I got Halo 20 first before you did, the value it devalues my purchase if I know someone else is going to play it a year later and I could save $500.
Well,
And that's I haven't really, at least for me personally, I haven't heard like a solid answer.
for single player games, maybe. But for multiplayer games, you may not want to wait a year to play a game because all of your friends are going to be moving on to something else.
Exactly. I mean, a year is a long time in the gaming space. I hate to say it,
Right.
but like, if you
It
release a
depends.
game a year
Depends.
later,
Bro, Wize.
Multiplayer games.
I agree with you. Like, I'm not. Listen, I personally, I'm not waiting a fucking year. I'm not waiting a month. Me personally, I do want to play those games.
If
day
it's a
one.
must play,
But I know there are millions of PC players who have told me we'll wait a fucking year to play your PlayStation.
You
games.
you
We
don't
don't
millions
care.
of PC
And
players.
then-
I'm impressed.
But
but you know the mentality of a PC
But-
player.
but-
They're
I
not
kinda-
going to buy a console. Period.
Or how many games players on Xbox won't buy a game the day it comes out because they know sometime down the road that game is going to come into Game Pass. I'm not going to buy it right now. Like, we know that there are millions of people that are willing to wait for these things, whether they happen or not. They're willing to wait and hope that it happens.
But that's not a loss
And-
because
We've seen this.
listen.
The
Hold on.
statistics have shown
That's not a
this.
loss. Super. That's not a loss for the company because these are the people that even if Game Pass didn't exist, would wait for a sale, right? Because the people like me, for example, that want to get Tekken day one, I don't care. It's $100. I'm paying $100, and every
$30.
other fan that was going to pay $100 was paid the $100. So the people that wait are not a lost sale. They're still going to subscribe to Game Pass. You're still monetizing people that would have waited a year, 2 years to just pay $30 or $20 for Tekken, but now you have them on the hook 24/7 for the whole year or for the next 2 or 3 years while they wait for games like Tekken to go to Game Pass. So you're still monetizing the same people. You're not losing anything.
And another thing, people don't. Okay, Game Pass, call it what you will. They've not shown any growth. It's been 33 million for the longest time, 34 million, I think,
34.
according to what Sarah Bond said.
She said 34, but even then we had to ask, is that with Game Pass or core included?
No, I think she said in an interview that includes core, so all the Xbox Gold people that rolled into it.
Yeah, well, let's just say for argument's sake, 34 million people. That, I mean, to be honest with you, since they've launched Game Pass and they said emphatically during that little presser that they had that Game Pass will only be available on like either PC or Xbox. Game Pass in and of itself is in my opinion, an exclusive. Okay. Yeah. Maybe the individual games that might be on Game Pass may not be exclusive, but the Game Pass app itself being exclusive means a whole lot of shit. You mean to tell me
by the way,
hold up.
Flagship IP at Xbox is Game Pass.
That triggers a
Actually,
lot of people.
let me correct one little piece. It's not just console and and PC
It's your
because
touch.
because the TVs and stuff that can play
Yeah.
it, they're doing a pared down
You
version
can play
of
it on a
xCloud.
fucking refrigerator.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
if you can download the app or if you can get some sort of web access, you can play it
Right.
on Game. You can play Game Pass, right?
And as
Basically.
of 2 weeks ago, you can play it on your iPad and your iPhone too.
Well,
so-
shit, there's
You've been
there's
able,
video
you've been able to
there's
play it on your
the Oculus
iPhone.
Quest.
there's videos you
But
can
I
play
mean,
Game Pass
officially
on
now,
PlayStation.
I mean, officially,
You mean-
You were
officially
able
now.
to officially play it on
you
your
mean like a
iPhone
native
for
app.
a while. Because
Yeah, they actually have a
native
native.
like stream it.
Yeah, they now have a native app. As of a couple weeks ago, they now have a native.
Wait, you
app,
can play
so-
Game Pass on
They've
PlayStation?
been had it.
Yeah.
No,
You can
on-
go to the-
on-
no. You
on
can't play Game
iPhone.
Pass through. You can
No,
do
they've
the
been had it
xCloud
for a
on
while
Game
because
Pass.
that's how I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, you can play xCloud on PlayStation. All you have to do use your web browser.
No, yeah,
and you
but
do it.
we're saying Game Pass, not xCloud.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but basic same difference. But anyhow,
Yeah.
but my
You
point
see the
being,
confusion you guys just had right now with those 5 seconds? That's what Xbox wants.
Their marketing.
Xbox
man.
everywhere, where you can't even tell the difference between Xbox
I
here
I
or
feel
there.
like it was.
Everything
I
is
feel like that's
Xbox.
the opposite of what they want. They want you to know where you can exactly get this.
Yeah,
damn
they-
thing. That's the
No, they
opposite.
want it everywhere, dude.
Okay,
no.
They want it everywhere.
and don't tell me that these companies would not relish in the fact of, oh, people will buy our games and we don't have to go in and invest in the development of a console. Okay, so like, yeah, consoles have always been for the major two a liability. Okay, they don't ever make money in the first launch, and they become a loss leader for the console. Okay, so if they can get out of it, I don't see why that's a negative. You mean to tell me, oh, you'll buy all my games?
Yeah, they won't be
even a
getting out of it
year
for the
later
foreseeable future. They
without
won't be
me-
getting out of it for the foreseeable future. Yeah, so.
But but still, a liability is a liability, Paul. I mean, whether they're going to get out of it or not going to get out of it, it is not for either company, not just for PlayStation and Xbox. It's never been a situation.
But that's true. But that's true with a lot of different things that we buy and use and stuff.
No, I mean, printers have been doing this model for years now. Like,
Yeah.
you buy the fucking printer for next to nothing, and you have to they both basically fucking gouge you on the shit like that. But
Oh yeah, I had for a while there. We used what I call disposable printers because the printer would cost $70, but the ink cartridge would cost $50. So every time the ink cartridge would out, we just go buy a
Exactly.
new printer. What the hell,
or do what I do. I would take the printer to Office Depot, say it ain't printing anymore, and they're like, "Well, okay, fine." And they don't ask me why it's not printing, and I would have told them it's because it's not printing. Yeah.
It'll work. Okay, here you go.
No, but I mean, okay, so yeah, so I mean, I don't like. I personally, okay, I understand what you guys are saying that it devalues the brand of devalues the console, but it devalues the console. Whoop the fucking do. What difference does it make if it devalues the goddamn plastic box? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day,
Because
you're
they
if
want
we're
to sell
speaking-
you the plastic box.
If we're speaking from the perspective of like, well, it devalues my console. I've already spent $500. Then like, yeah, but it's like big whoop. I'm not losing, or like I already saved the $500. I'm like, I don't care. Like next generation Xbox come out, I'm like, oh yeah, the games are coming out a year later. Well, I ain't gonna buy the Xbox. You could buy the new console, but I haven't spent any money on it, so I don't care.
Oh, so
But when
Xbox
you
is
already-
going to sit there and cry over something that they're not going to
When-
make a dry dollar profit off of you because you didn't buy it, and you'd rather wait for two year or a year and a half. to
Again,
get
if
the
we're
console.
speaking from a year perspective, and as the consumer, I'm really focusing on the consumer side of things because Microsoft they just want to sell the console, and I understand that. But if I've already spent the $500, I want to make sure I have a solid amount of value behind my purchase. And that's what a lot of people prior to now they were way over the top with the rumors, but that's why people were upset because like I've already put the money into the console, and you tell me there's ways that's going to devalue the console. Of course, people are going to be upset. Now, if you haven't invested in the ecosystem, you really wouldn't care, you know.
And to be honest with you, the games that they announced, it makes sense. Like for example, when Pentiment came out was first before we got an unofficial confirmation that Pentiment's going, which we still don't know officially, but oh well.
Pentiment isn't going to excite anybody. About
It ain't gonna
fucking
excite
Xbox.
anybody. But you know what? When I first heard that it was Pentiment going, one of the games is Pentiment. They're going multi-platform. You know what I said? I said, you know what? That is the perfect game for the Switch. I'm sitting at night down with my wife and stuff, and I'm sitting there playing. I would love to play a game like Pentiment on my
You could
freaking
literally
Switch.
play Pentiment on your cell phone, which has
Yeah.
a screen almost the
Yeah.
size of a Switch.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
Hi-Fi
don't see any
Rush
problem.
screen. Hi-Fi Rush Scream Switch, by the way, it has since the day it launched.
Exactly.
Playing on
That to me makes much more sense than a fucking Pentiment.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Actually, no. Pentiment is because Switch players tend to value games like visual novels and stuff like that more.
Well, that's only games that
I
can
mean,
run on that fucking potato.
Fucking
We
weebs.
value them way more than Switch players.
So that's
No.
why Cozy likes Switch.
Because she likes potatoes. I got it. Anyhow, but I mean, let me go ahead and say this. Now, on the other side of the coin for all of it is this. One of the things that everyone was talking about before the podcast was they need to, and I'm not talking about everyone. I'm talking about big, true Xbox podcasters. We're saying when they come on, they need to sort of,
True.
and we're talking about Destin.
Where's the certificate?
Destin Legary, okay. Destin Legary was one, and Brad Sams was another. He's another one, and he said they all said the same thing, that when they got to be clear in their messaging. That's the biggest problem I had with the biggest takeaway I had from the whole.
They weren't.
They
Their
weren't.
messaging was ass.
Yeah.
You know, this is a test phase. Like, come on now. Like I said, you guys make money. You gotta continue
Xbox
going around.
is the only of the three brands, Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox. Xbox is the only one that anytime they announce something, people are like, so
You didn't say anything.
what's going what is actually happening, or so is this gonna be what happened? Like, there's always questions or confusion, or they're never, I don't know, man, there's always confusion around what's gonna happen, because they're not.
I think
they
this
don't
one
give
was more clear than
definitive
usual. Come on, guys.
statements.
It
No,
wasn't
I mean,
that bad.
okay, so
well, for one, like before games, we can't tell you what that is. This is the test phase. Not everything is going exclusive. Okay, how long before the next possible title goes to
Right.
the next
They
platform? And
they always leave us
We
with more
don't know.
questions than
We're going
answers.
to see. We're going to see feedback if the
Yeah.
PlayStation and Nintendo crew buy a whole bunch of our games. Then we're going to pivot
I mean-
and put more games on those consoles.
well,
or not.
I mean,
I don't think it's really an experiment. I think there's, like I said, I think it's just the tip.
It's-
They just want to see when they put them out there. A, yes, do they sell?
Just
But
the
B,
tip.
is there a lot of negative backlash for those games when they're announced? And how does it go over with everybody? If it goes
You
over
know,
with everybody well, then
I
we see
think
more.
the main thing is it goes back to a lot of people sharing. This is exactly what happened when they were putting games on PC. Not everything's going to PC. We're just testing it right now. We'll find out more later.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, yeah. Mhm.
Y'all
Well-
like this? All right.
well, the
Look,
thing
if these
You
games
already
sell
know
well
that.
on PlayStation, it is
That's a
very
good point, Super.
unrealistic to believe that other games aren't coming. Like, why only 4?
I'm
Why-
sure.
why not less than
I'm sure.
4? Why not more than 4?
go ahead, Cerebral. You were saying?
Because it takes production time, dude. They can't just, it's not just plug and play. For one, and for two, they don't want to dump the whole, and it's never going to be the whole catalog, but they don't want to. They are probably going to pick and say, okay, how do we think this one will do? And one, they want to return on their investment. If we're going to invest the time and the money to put it on these other consoles or these other devices, is it going to make us our money back? So that's the other reason why it's not going to be every game ever.
I think the reason why it's not going to be every game is because there are certain games that, of course, are your Gears, your Halos, your Forzas. I don't think those will ever touch a PlayStation or Nintendo console because those are so ingrained with what Xbox is. But a lot of these games they've gotten through acquisitions that have traditionally for decades been third-party games. Like if Doom Year One, whatever the fuck they're calling the next Doom, goes to PlayStation, even though they own it now, I don't think anyone's really gonna have a problem with that. If all these other games that are part of the acquisition that would have been going to PlayStation anyway go to PlayStation, I don't think that's going to cause as much of a problem as if the next Halo was on PlayStation or the next Forza.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. And I know Forza won't because Sony would never allow that because that'd be direct competition with their own IP.
Well, even now, when the rumors first started, I mean, the first rumor was Hi-Fi Rush, right? Nobody really, people were complaining, but like, okay, well, we can see it because, and it was not without precedent because, Ori went, Cuphead went. And so if Hi-Fi Rush sort of seems like the same type of game, if you will, okay, fine, And then, of course, they said Sea of Thieves, and then that sort of made sense because it's a multiplayer game. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Then the shit hit the fan when Starfield was mentioned. When Starfield was mentioned, that's when everything became a shit show and everyone started dropping Xbox like flies. You know, it's like, oh,
yeah,
okay,
that
That was
idiot.
the
I can't
one.
think of his name. That idiot who I can't think of his name. You know, Dirty Dan or whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah.
Dirty.
yeah, that's
And
when you,
like I said last time we spoke, I said a lot of these dumbasses that aren't even waiting for the announcement, selling their Xboxes. Now these dumb fucks sold their Xbox for fucking $1.50 and a Werther's original, and now they're gonna have to buy a new one in order to play Indiana Jones. Congratulations,
and I actually saw one was going. He sold it because he wanted to sell it before the Xbox was devalued. He said that before the announcement. I'm like, okay, you're an absolute idiot. Okay.
No, he might be onto something.
Yeah.
well, I mean, that doesn't make sense either. Like, okay, you've already bought the console,
Right.
and you're now going to
You
sell
gotta-
the console because the game is coming to an old
everything.
game is coming to another platform.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
I equate it to the
sick,
same
bro.
idiots who buy like jerseys for a certain player, and that player does something totally stupid, so they make a big show of they're burning their jerseys, and I'm like, hey, they've already got your money, dude. They don't really give a fuck what you do with your
Right,
shirt.
exactly.
You know?
It doesn't make any goddamn sense, you know? No, I mean, it's like, all right, so that's when really the thing hit the fan. But even like a year and a half from now, the problem has been from day one for Xbox has been the messaging. And it's ironic because Xbox is the most talkative on social media than all the other two
Saying a whole lot of
publishers.
nothing.
That's the problem, dude. They need to
We
shut the fuck up and
nothing.
say less.
Yeah, this could go. Well, I mean,
I
it
don't
is
really
refreshing
think-
having somebody like that talk. But anyhow,
I almost want to say less about say less, but be consistent about what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
but you see, the problem is with
if
their
the statements
podcast is
were-
that
were-
everybody, all of the Xbox centric YouTubers out there were like, they got to be clear because this messaging is getting tiring. Because every time a game comes out, the first question that everyone asks is this going to be an exclusive? Well, you putting out 4 games going to another console, even though those 4 games might be warranted, you're not doing anything to stop that dialogue that constantly occurs whenever you announce a new game.
That's never going to
Plus,
stop, dude.
if-
It's never going to
No,
stop.
but
Plus,
and
if
it's part of their messaging again because and especially now specifically because of this saying, oh, we're only doing 4 games. Like every game that gets announced from here on out on the Xbox side, there's always going to
Where's it
be the
going?
fucking asterisk of is this eventually going to come to other platforms? That is not something that Nintendo or PlayStation ever has to worry about.
Plus, if you're bringing games like Pentiment made by Obsidian, the previous statement of, oh, Bethesda games are case by case. Well, now we're pulling 2 portfolios that weren't Bethesda titles or Activision titles. So it's just going to be a constant question.
There's always going to be caveats whenever they announce something of people are never going to know, is this game going to be, unless they come out and say this game is never going to another platform. Unless they come out and say that for every fucking game.
The next one's
there's
going to
always
be
gonna
Xbox
be the caveat.
exclusive for real, and that's like each one or something.
All right, so let's call it. Let's play devil's advocate here again. Say, for example, they do this. Whether it's a year exclusive or day and date. Let's just say a year exclusive. Does this kill Xbox's brand?
Slowly. Are we talking about the okay? Wait. Are we talking about the console or the overall brand? You guys,
The overall.
No, because you're still having players into the ecosystem. So they're on your PC, they're on your Xbox, they're on their PlayStation, they're on their smart TV. So that's a brand. No. Now again, the console on the other hand, slowly but surely.
They're saying that they are planning on building a next gen Xbox. They're saying it's going to be the largest generational leap we've ever seen in a console generation. All of that sounds amazing.
But all consoles are like that by nature, even from the PS4
No,
to
but
PS5.
they're saying the largest generational leap we've ever seen in a console generation.
And actually, the generational leap between this console and the last console wasn't that much, really. I mean,
no.
Are you kidding?
But, I mean,
Did you just say
no,
that? How is that feasible? How did you just say that?
From a tech level, it wasn't. No, from the last time we saw a major jump was from the original Xbox to the 360. Actually.
Dude, wasn't the PS4 and Xbox One playing on like mobile chips, like anemic Jaguar chips?
But see, already with graphics, even before we were already almost at the point of the I forget the term.
It's diminishing returns.
Yeah.
Is that what people are saying? More?
Yeah.
I have to look into what they're saying is. But
It's but yeah, from a tech standpoint, the leap wasn't that big. That's why these consoles are the closest to their PC counterparts that we've ever seen.
That's what I'm saying. We've never had a console that been close to the PC counterpart. I mean, when the PS4 and Xbox One came out, they were definitely not near the PC counterpart of that time.
So
yeah, they
part of
were
it is
like
they're also built
low,
on PC architecture when they were doing their weird, funky shit in the past. So that's probably the other reason why.
Right. The Xbox One was the first. The Xbox One and the PS4 were the first two that had chips that were made by AMD specifically for those two devices.
Was it like X64 architecture, whatever the fuck it's called?
The Jaguar. They were both based on the Jaguar chips.
Well, Rich asked a pretty interesting question. He said, "Well, we sort of know one of the main motivations behind this is because Xbox is third place, and they got these games, and they want to make more profit, so they're going to Sony and maybe putting it on their platform or Nintendo because there's just more users there. So they're just trying to make more money.
feel, as we said, if the games succeed, they're just going to put more out there. You know, it's a test, so if the test is good, do it again. If the test is bad, maybe do it again, but later."
Rich argues the contrary. He says, "Why is no one asking if the process that Xbox is going to do works? What if what do they do next?"
The answer is more games go. That's the answer. It's like I said, this is dipping a toe in the waters. Is the water hot? Is the water cold? Are we going to tolerate this? And then if you can tolerate it, then
go back to just a tip.
It's just a tip, bro. But
what if it is?
They already kind of know what to expect as far as,
of course,
in any sales and stuff. They have 20 years of history to show for that. When things go from single console to multi and vice versa, and they've been on both sides of that race. So I think more games will probably go to the other devices, sure, but I don't think like you said, it's probably never going to be the Forzas or the Halos.
It'll never be those. But the point I was trying to make before is, they plan on making this
big
new
never, guys.
Xbox. They're saying
Sony
it's going to
running
be this
Nintendo right now.
giant generational leap. But if they start putting more of their games onto their competing platform, we're already at the point where in this generation, PS5 is either at the same pace or outpacing the PS4, which was wildly successful. The series consoles are behind the Xbox One. So they're seeing a downward trend in the popularity of their console that Nintendo and PlayStation are not seeing. Now, if they start putting their games on PlayStation, how the fuck is that going to impact their next console? Dude, that downward trend is going to take a massive dive. I don't care what the specs of the next generation Xbox are. It's going to impact sales of that console. It doesn't matter if it's a year later that we get those games on other platforms. It's going to negatively impact sales of that console.
But if you don't care about the console, then what difference does it make? Which Microsoft has said historically over and over again, we don't.
Then
care.
why
Let me
make
ask
one
you,
Wize?
Wize.
They clearly care.
So
about the
when you
console.
ask that question, are we speaking from Microsoft or the consumer who wants to invest in the ecosystem?
We're talking about Microsoft.
All right.
Go ahead.
Because they still have a large user base on console, and that's not gonna,
I mean,
and they also need.
we see how
not every one of their games is going to PlayStation or Nintendo, so they need a place in the console space to sell their games. Without a console, they're not selling games in the console space.
Yeah.
Right.
So you mean to tell me what you're saying is because they're not gonna even though they're gonna launch their games let's just say a year later, right? That means that they're going to have a diminished amount of consoles that are being sold.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, the test for me is going to be Indiana Jones. They've said it's not going to go to the other consoles now or the other platforms now. But see, the test for me will be, okay, are they going to do it a year from now or 2 years from now? That'll tell me where they're really kind of at with this.
I mean, why? You're seeing a downward trend of their consoles without porting games.
Yeah, so
how does porting games make it so we don't see a downward trend in console popularity?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're already exactly that.
Okay.
Now, are we saying it's going to be a nosedive? No.
What are you saying, Paul?
No, again, they're going to have to be, they're going to have to be really selective in what games they do that with, I think, in order to hang on to what they have, kind of thing. But again, their whole big picture is the ecosystem, not just the console. The console's part of the ecosystem, but they are also looking at growing the ecosystem. That's cloud, that's game, that's playing it wherever the fuck you can, and growing the business that way. I think they're going to go strictly third party or toss to council. Probably not before I'm dead. But
But what
20
does that look like?
20 years from now, maybe even neither console will exist, depending on
Yeah, I think in 20 years there aren't going to be any consoles. I mean, everything is going to be third party published to fucking
Start investing to your PC,
whatever.
guys.
Because we'll have TVs at that point that are as powerful as consoles.
But
Look at the
wait,
TVs
if
now,
you're
they
if
do
you're
all
saying
touchscreens.
even in 20 years that you don't have a console, then why do they? If these companies are forward thinking, why would they care about the console sales now? If in 10 years and 20 years it doesn't matter.
Because they need something to sell the
They're not
the
gonna
consoles are the
stop earning
Trojan horse
some,
to
bro.
get the games into your house, bro.
Unlike Nintendo, they can't just sit on their ass for 10 years and go, "That's fine." That's,
I'm sure
Well-
the way they're investing into the cloud, like they know the way cloud's going, the consoles is going to be irrelevant. They already said how in the future exclusives are going to be less and less, but they're still going to continue to invest because they know that's what they need to do now.
Right.
But there is a
can be
problem.
you can be forward thinking, but unless the infrastructure's there to make that switch now,
Well,
they're
that's
gonna
what
continue
I've always
it's gonna
been
continue to
saying.
be business as usual.
Yeah, that's what I've always been saying too. Is the infrastructure is not there now, and it won't be there next year. And again, I'm always pointing out that we're not talking about just North America or the quote civilized world. We're talking about all over the place. There's even places here in the States where you still got crap internet and you cannot cloud game. Okay,
I can only move like 2 feet, and my
Yeah,
cell
Look,
signal
look,
cuts out
look
if
at
I'm trying to
look at
stream
electric
something.
cars. Wise, like they're trying to slowly push more into electric vehicles, but petrol
Slow
is
is the
still
word.
king because the infrastructure is not there.
Right.
No.
Petrol is still, and a lot of people still prefer doing it the way it is now. They don't give a fuck about
Give me my diesel.
the forward-thinking idea.
Yeah. If personally, I've always said if I were to get a car, if I could drive, I would probably at this point go with a hybrid because it's not feasible to have a electric car everywhere. It's great for if you're just driving around town or whatever, or decent trips. But if I really wanted to go a long distance, I want to have that choice because there are some places that you can't charge your car to save your life.
The infrastructure is just not
Yeah,
there. in order
it's
for it to
not
be
there.
feasible.
Yeah.
Now, the Tesla Roadster was debuted almost 20 years ago now. The Tesla Roadster when it came out,
Mhm.
but
yeah.
and what are we starting to see now? We're starting to see now a lot of these car manufacturers are starting to turn back away from electric vehicles because they can't fucking sell them. The
Exactly.
infrastructure is just not there yet.
Yeah.
So
the
even
electric
though-
cars
even
feel
though
like one of those.
everything-
Like, back in
even
the
the-
day, remember those toys, those little car toys that you pushed back and then they went by themselves?
yeah.
That's what it feels.
What about the
It's
ones
the
where you had the
spring.
little ripcord on it? The little ripcord.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Bobby,
Yeah.
pull when I say pull. Okay, then
Yeah.
run like your ass and get in the car. All right.
So cloud gaming 100% will be just like VR. 100% will be
Yeah.
the future. Like VR in 20, 30 years, everything will be a headset you wear or whatever. Like, or we can assume maybe. I assume, but we're just not there yet. And so they need the console because they need a way to get the games in your house, and the console's the way they're doing that.
Okay. Well, let me go to this next question regarding PlayStation and Xbox here. Okay, so one thing that they made a point of mentioning in this podcast was they asked emphatically they didn't mention the 4 games that are going, but they in fact mentioned the 2 games that are not going. One of them is Indiana Jones, and the other one is Starfield. Do you feel that they were going to initially launch those as well, but because of feedback or whatever, the shit show that happened a week prior, they had to sort of call backwards?
That's tinfoil hat shit. I mean, could it have been? Possibly, but I mean, these decisions, they take a long time for this shit to for them to come to these decisions. I don't see them all of a sudden backtracking on something like that. Something that would have been that major in 2 weeks.
So you don't think it was?
No, because because with the push on Indiana Jones, we would have already known that. They wouldn't have been okay. We know we've been telling you that that it's only going to be on Xbox, but now it's going to be on Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, that would
No.
be
And
a shit show, especially after you unveil it as
Yeah.
exclusive. Then you're like, actually,
Is
5 days
it possible
later.
though, Wise? I mean, we know that Starfield, when it started development, started as a platform project, and then Xbox was like, "Yeah, that PS5 version fucking axe that shit.
Throw the
So
shit in the
for all we
trash.
know, there's a build for PlayStation 5 that's already halfway done, and it wouldn't have taken that much money to complete it and then port it. Is that a possibility? Sure. Do I think that's what was happening? No, not with you just released this game last year. It's the largest fucking Xbox IP, released, since what, Halo 2?
Right.
Like it's like the fucking Xbox game right now. And I think that if they would have said it's going to another platform, it would have been business suicide. People would be like, fuck you, we're out. There's no fucking way they would have done that.
What I love, and I wish I could,
yeah.
I wish I could remember the guy's name, because he, first he said, he posted the rumor and he said, I can absolutely verify
Nate the Hate.
I could absolutely verify this is true. And then 3 days later, okay, so this whole thing about
I think one thing I want to touch on too is the whole shit show that happened where people were like, oh, is this called Microsoft Pass now? It's not Xbox Game Pass.
Yeah,
it's
that was another one.
That was so silly.
He was like,
that was so
and Phil just flat out said, no, it's not going to any other.
But what difference does it make if they call it Microsoft Game Pass? Because it's still Microsoft.
It was never going to happen.
It was just the fact that people are using there's a shitstorm is brewing, so we just gonna toss everything out and say, this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen.
If Microsoft is going to stay in the gaming space, even if they went multi-platform, they're not dropping the Xbox name, because the Xbox name is the one that's associated with gaming,
right?
Not Microsoft. Even though Microsoft has a past, going back decades of gaming, Xbox is the name that's associated with gaming,
right? And
to drop that name, which already has billions of dollars in value, makes no fucking sense from a business perspective. People saying that word, and it's fun to speculate about shit. The problem was we were having people going around saying, I heard and I know from a fact because of my source, who I can't name.
Wait, they're not correcting. They're not correcting them. Even EA call it Microsoft. This is true. I'm like, guys, chill. It was just this people just clinging on to anything and everything.
It's one thing to speculate. We had people going around trying to say like they know what's happening, or their source on the inside told them this, that,
was
or the
it
other thing.
another thing, wasn't it if I'm recalling correctly, maybe I'm misremembering, but I think it was people were speculating like, hey, Jeff Grubb or someone said we're gonna have a Nintendo Direct day of the showcase.
Yeah,
that's when we're gonna drop Hi-Fi Rush. And I'm just like, guys, y'all are just
that's what I saw. I said it's scheduled the same day as the Nintendo Direct.
Well, I was wrong.
What's funny is they never say they were wrong, or hardly. They never backtrack on what they say. In fact, I watched a couple of them still. I watched a couple of them still double down. Well, I was kind of right. I didn't have the games right, but I was kind of right. I'm like, no, you weren't. Okay, stop it. So, I just, you'll notice I'm not responding to none of that on my Twitter feed. I'm seeing enough people bite at each other that I don't need to actually get involved. It would make me,
The sad thing is we had people having mental breakdowns in real time on social media over this shit. How fucking pathetic, bro.
That's why I always say wait till they say themselves or we get confirmation, because my favorite stuff is the one was, I have a friend who knows somebody who works at the company, and
my daughter's sister's wife's fucking
my uncle's
roommate.
a janitor at Microsoft, and he was walking in while sweeping and noticed the shit going on and stuff.
It's like no. We aren't gonna play telephone.
It's always like third party hearsay. It's like, I heard from a party who heard from a party who heard from a party who heard from another party.
So let me ask everybody here, okay? And we have everybody on the panels. We got PC-centric guys, we have Xbox-centric guys, we have PlayStation-centric guys.
I play games, yeah.
No Nintendo guys.
And
I play
I'm a
Nintendo
guy, so
every 5 months.
There's a Nintendo gal as well.
Every half year.
I mean,
okay, me and Cozy will be Team Nintendo. Okay, that's cool.
I've owned every Nintendo console since the 80s. Fuck off, guys.
Yeah, well, we're lumping you into one category, and it ain't Nintendo. I'm sorry to say that. But my point, why are they in this position? I mean, we've always had a 3-horse race in every console generation for as long as I can remember, What is Microsoft's fundamental flaw in your opinion? Why are they not able to break the zeitgeist, if you will?
Excuse me.
I think it's they're struggling to appeal to the casual market, really. Because most people will just stick to what they have already. because like that's what they've had for a long time. So a lot of people
I
have PlayStations.
yeah,
So let's stick to that.
it goes back to what Phil said, where he said we lost the generation that mattered with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One generation, where people are already building up their catalog of games. So at that point, it's like unless you it's just hard to get people to move from their fan base or their current ecosystem onto Xbox, or even then just to adopt and have it alongside the Xbox and not sell the PlayStation. Like he said at one point, they're not going to sell their PlayStation off of one game. It's like, yeah, you got to have some heavy hitters to have people drawn into the ecosystem. And even then, if you don't expect them to buy the console, you need to market Game Pass better and still have those exclusives to get people in to subscribe to the service. Because again, you don't have to, you're not selling on the console anymore. You're not relying on the console to do the sales. But now you're just like, okay, your Game Pass subscribers aren't growing, and why is that? And
So
marketing and content.
you attribute the metric because of poor advertising for Game Pass?
Well, let me just say too,
No, I don't think it's that.
and a lot of
But
us in here can
it's-
attest to
it's-
this. A lot of us in here can attest to this. We play on the consoles that we play on because that's where our friends were
Okay.
when we started. You know, if all of our friends are playing on PlayStation, we're gonna get a PlayStation because that's what we want to play with. If all of our friends are on Xbox, that's where we're gonna go.
But that means that
So,
there's no if that's the reason, Paul, then there's no way, nothing Microsoft can do.
I kind of just the answer the
No,
question.
I'm saying that's what gets a lot of people into the.
But if that's the reason, Paul, then there's nothing Microsoft can do to sort of.
I don't know if it's necessarily
again,
that.
if-
It was. I just think that Microsoft never had the mind share of the Xbox as the
Right.
console to have. Like they also lost the mind share, or never. I don't know if they ever had it, but they definitely lost the mind share if they ever
had
had
the
it.
lead in
This
the
is the console you go to for those premier gaming experiences. Whether you agree with that statement or not, whether that's your personal beliefs or not, I think generally most people go, okay, PlayStation has the premier quality exclusives, Xbox does not. At least for an entire generation, that's been the case.
Yeah,
and I think that definitely hurt them, and they haven't done anything to really change that sentiment in the gaming space.
But their premier games, Super, have not sold to any metric. I think the most they've ever sold is like 30 million.
They haven't had a lot of them. Yeah,
Halo Infinite did not hit. Halo Infinite was not Halo 2.
Play and look at what's happening with Helldivers. Like, I know it's a new IP, but it's like if you sell a multiplayer game that's good and fun, you might gather more people. And again, it's not entirely a fair comparison because it's an old IP. But again, it's like if you launched
Super. And Triple, you're talking about Helldivers. Is Helldivers 2 success based primarily because it's a PlayStation exclusive, or is it a success because it was also released day and date on PC?
Almost, I just go back to, I mean, day and date definitely, and also it's
both,
fun.
honestly.
A lot of people are saying it's fun, and yeah, I mean, maybe with it being a PlayStation IP as well, but it's a fun game that a lot of people like having a lot of fun. When you look at Infinite, what were people saying about Infinite? This negativity, just missing the multiplayer.
Helldivers is also a game where the expectations weren't very much because it's just this,
it was delayed 6 times over the last 3 years.
Sequel
I know.
of a AA game. And it came out and was pleasantly surprised people. Halo Infinite was this is Halo, bro. This is the flagship IP for Xbox. This is their new game built specifically for next generation hardware. This is effectively their new God of War, their new Last of Us, their new Uncharted, whatever the fuck it is on the PlayStation, and it just didn't hit.
And I think another just to stay on the exclusive thing, we gotta look at where Xbox was closer towards like if not the late end of the Xbox One, where their studio lineup was just not there, and they were doing all these investments later, but it's just like it's coming at such a late time. A lot of people are waiting for these heavy hitters to start flowing like a lot. It's kind of go back to what people were speaking about when they were hinting at third-party multiplayer thing, and people are like, you're just now really starting to get the ball rolling with all these acquisitions. These studios are starting to put out games like Hellblade, Avowed, etc., and this news come up. So it's just that tells you the mindset of people saying like, hey, your first-party exclusives have just not been hitting at all. They've been lackluster either from a quality perspective or a quantity perspective, and now that you're really hitting that metric, and like I say, you go back to really getting Game Pass out there, maybe that can help out. Maybe now that you finally do have the games to advertise your subscription service, and you hit the subscription advertisements better, maybe you can see proper growth. But who knows?
Well, and that's
People
my
like,
take.
why would you do why would you do it now? You're just at the point where you loaded all the barrels of the gun with these fucking games, and you're about to fire your shots, but you're gonna go multi-plat now. Like, why?
Well, this brings up a key point. Okay, so first of all, Richard said in the chat, he said, "Love how people say PlayStation games don't sell, but how many Xbox games have sold 10 million?"
I think I was listening.
We will never know because they don't tell us.
Yeah, and I think when people say PlayStation games don't sell, I was listening to Colin, what is it, Sacred Symbols? Yeah, Sacred Symbols, and they're talking about the Insomniac leak, and they're talking about how they're going over some of the numbers, and they're saying how like Last of Us remaster sold a crap ton, and the first one altogether hit like 26 million, I think. But part 2 only sold 10 million. And when people say the games don't sell, it's just like you have this much larger ecosystem to draw from, and they're just not hitting those numbers. So don't take it as literal as like the games aren't selling, but it's like, hey, with this huge player base, you would think they would be selling much, much better, but they're not. So
and see, that's the thing.
Last of Us 2 also had a whole lot of shit surrounding it, which
around
definitely negatively impacted sales. If it wasn't for all that shit, it would have sold much, much better, especially because it's a game. It's one of those games where story is so important. And when a lot of people got that story either spoiled for them or they found out the story was something they definitely didn't want to fucking experience, they're like, fuck that game.
Okay, well,
I'm people. I'm people.
But
it wasn't
so how many units in combination across all platforms? PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 3, because I think it initially came out on the PlayStation 3. How many units has Last of Us sold?
Are you just talking about regular one? All of them, or so the first one? So the first one, I believe he said sold 26 million. The first one on PS3 was like 8 million, and then on the PS4 with the remaster, they showed us. I mean, my math is off. I know it was in the 20s in total, and the remaster sold way more than the original release. So. Yeah, the first one did numbers. Yeah.
And so you would say across 3 generations, they sold what, 40 million?
The first one?
Yeah, just
so
the first one
again, going off of what Colin had in his numbers from the Insomniac League, he said that was like 20. He says like 20 million, I believe, for the first one.
No, 20 million combined on all 3 platforms combined.
No, so the first one in total, he was counting the remaster and the original. He said in total it sold 20 something million. And the second one in total sold about
as of December 22, 37 million copies
combined across all 3 platforms.
That was December of 2022. And that was in 9 years. So in 9 years, Last of Us has sold 37 million.
In 9 years across 3 platforms, 3, 4, and 5, right?
Yeah.
So you're talking about 40. Okay, so PlayStation 3 sold about 80 million units. PlayStation 4 sold about 100
something million
units. And
then the PC player base is huge as hell too.
Right. So let's just say for argument's sake, 100 million units on average console with a 30 million buy-in. That is what 3% of your total population, or 30 30%.
Unless you're a Nintendo, that is what it always is.
The problem is the exclusives aren't really the main sellers for the high premium consoles, unlike Nintendo,
and that's I'm sure that's where Microsoft and PlayStation is like,
that's where they kind of struggle with the first party, because it's all about the multiplats. That's really all it is.
But then but Super was saying that because PlayStation is known for their high end exclusives. What good is being known for something when nobody's buying it, when only 30% of your population base is buying it at best?
It doesn't matter. You know the one that you bought is the one where the good games are, whether you buy those games or not.
What?
Also,
wait. So the games are there. I'm not going to buy it, but it's there.
Paul, I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna buy something, I'm saying hypothetically, even if you're not interested in certain features, if you know that because of those features they make the thing that you're buying the exceptional one, those things still count, whether or not you give a shit about them or not. And I'm not saying that is why people purchase them. I'm just saying that is a possibility.
No, not just that. Also, a lot of people make decisions based off of what's popular. So you want to play Madden, you want to play FIFA, but you want to play on the best machine. So the clout that that PlayStation gets of being the platform with all this quality gives them the upper hand when
Yeah.
people are looking at, okay, where am I going to play FIFA? I'm going to play it
Bro,
on the best console. The best
You had
console,
Saturday Night Live
according to
making
all the
skits
marketing and whatever,
about
it's
sleeping in
PlayStation.
bed with PS5s and shit. Like when the consoles first came out, Saturday Night Live was making skits about sleeping in bed with the PS5. I forgot exactly what the skit was about, but like that's out there in pop culture. You had fucking porn stars
Me
and
or the
shit
PlayStation
putting out
5.
videos, me or the PS5, right? Like
Me or
they weren't doing it me or the Series X. So you had all these things going out there in pop culture that made it so that that's the cool one, that's the desired one. Whether the person gives a shit or not, these are
Yeah.
things that are going to impact their purchase, their decision
Again,
making or whatever the purchase.
I was listening to a lot of shows and people are like, you can't blame the Xbox generation. It's been so far. It's like you guys don't understand how much damage the Xbox One generation did to the Xbox brand, and for Sony popularity, it's just a snowball. Like after that, they were getting so many exclusive deals, especially when they finally got the Call of Duty deal. And as I said before, and we're saying now, third parties sell a lot. So when they finally got the marketing rights to Call of Duty, like yeah, they're seated. They're on a PlayStation sitting there, and with the Call of Duty now on Xbox, but they're not making exclusive. Like, why would they move over to Xbox if it's also going to be on PlayStation?
Perks.
Yeah,
Perks. As soon as the perks start rolling in,
that's the double-edged sword
and then
with,
you
with
get
Call
a
of
whole
Duty.
lot more stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
You were
maybe
saying-
Because
what were you
they
saying,
could make
Luke?
Call of Duty. Yeah, sorry, I was talking over.
I'm
Luke, my bad.
saying, I'm saying the reason why people are going to pick Xbox is because of the perks. As
are you
soon
talking
as
about
the
like
Xbox, I'm talking about Call of
exclusives?
Duty.
No,
I'm talking about Call of Duty specifically.
yeah.
A lot of people are going to just switch to an Xbox because all the new stuff is going to be on Xbox for
I don't
part
think
of their
they're
deal
going to do that
content parity?
because yeah, that's what they said. They only I feel with Xbox.
You guys
the only
still
reason-
believe in corporations like you're related to these motherfuckers.
No. I mean, it's you got to choose which one you think is going to be true or
Seriously.
not. And when it comes to the parody, I don't think they're going to walk back on that one. Like I don't think. Oh,
I
yeah,
think
you know,
they
we're
will.
going to
I mean
have.
that's a deal they penned with another corporation.
Yeah, I'm
If they
pretty
don't
sure that was the
fucking- if
thing
they walk
too when it
back
came to
that,
the
I'm pretty
FTC
sure
or
PlayStation's coming with some
something like that.
lawyers.
Yeah, like weren't that something they had to deal with or agree to during the
I think
acquisition
so,
of
correct.
ABK? Like I highly
think
doubt
they'll
they
do it.
will.
Like
Plus,
that's
again,
not a
I
verbal
feel
promise to us. That's like a legal promise to another
legal
corporation.
binding. You know that you can't create a lesser quality version or something.
Yeah, if there's a fee to be paid, and then move past that, and then you have the exclusive rights to one of the biggest games on the planet.
So
Microsoft will pay that fee.
They should have just not penned the deal at all, man. They
So
could have just been like, "That's it, Call of Duty." Xbox is the Call of Duty machine starting now for the rest of goddamn
Penning the
time.
deal,
But hold up.
probably help.
So what?
It get through at the time.
Yeah, what's gonna help them?
for sure.
What's maybe and what they might be banking on? They're just saying, hey, we're gonna see how much this can pull in. Is hey, they confirmed that ABK games will be in Game Pass. I know that's something people were speculating before the podcast that they did was like, are some of the games just not going to make it into Game Pass because of their costs? And they said no, all of our first party will continue to be in Game Pass. So eventually, hey, instead of Call of Duty for 70 on PlayStation, you can get it 15 or 10 here. Maybe that's what they're banking on, but I don't know. I'm curious on how many people are willing to say, you know what, I'll jump ship to Xbox and pay $15, or to say, you know what, screw it, I'll pay the 70 and keep all my PlayStation and whatever platform they prefer.
So okay, so let's just let's say
it's
they put all of their
a year.
No, you were saying? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I talk too goddamn much. I was just saying that for those people, it's just $70, right? For the entire year, $70, and you can stay where you are. Like, yeah, it's $70 more, but dude, $70 over the course of a year is not that bad.
Yeah. So
okay, so let me ask you a question. So we know that they have Call of Duty. They have Call of Duty, and they put all of Call of Duty's back catalog on Game Pass. And Game Pass still is going to be exclusive for the next generation console. And so let's say, for example, they do something where you buy the console at $500, the new next console, and you get Game Pass for X amount of months for free, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. Does that help them sell consoles? If that's their problem, is selling consoles.
No. they're not only having a problem selling consoles, they're having a problem selling Game Pass. So putting the service they're having problems getting subscribers for on the console they're having problems selling, I don't see how those help each other.
But it's Call of Duty, and
That sounds like a joke with a punchline and everything.
If it was
Well, you know-
exclusive, if it
but
was
then
entirely
everyone
exclusive,
says, oh, the only reason people buy consoles is for Call of
If-
Duty. So
If Call
But
of
it's still
Duty
gonna
was
be on
like
PlayStation.
she was saying, if Call of Duty was only on, like, the next Xbox comes out and says, here is Call of Duty Modern Warfare 7 or whatever the fuck it's at now, and it is only on Xbox consoles, maybe. But if it's still on PlayStation, then no.
okay.
I mean,
Well, fundamentally, I personally believe, and I think somebody mentioned it earlier, the biggest problem I see right now for Xbox is that in the past that they had a killer IP. They had an IP that you couldn't not play. I mean, when Halo 2 came out, Halo 3 came out, you had to be there. You had to play that
This is
game.
like
It was a must. Gears of War, it was a must. I can't, and again, nothing.
Elder Scrolls fucking, what was it, 4 at the time?
Yeah, I mean-
Oblivion, yeah, 4.
And so
Yeah.
these games were a must. The problem is they've not given us anything in recent vicinity that was a must. There was Starfield that came out that everyone thought was going to be a must, but I think Starfield got sort of overshadowed with everything else that came out last year, including, and I hate to say it, Baldur's Gate 3, even though
Gate.
they're
No,
totally
no,
different
that's-
games.
Also
that's
didn't really
completely-
help Starfield.
Why'd you
2.
hate to say it?
Yeah, like it was direct.
Yeah, I
You were
mean,
saying, Kelly,
I
I'm sorry.
think in another year, if Starfield it was the only game that came out of that ilk that year, it would have garnered more.
No, I
buzz.
think Starfield's problem wasn't so much other games. It was specifically the
It
type
was
of
very
game that it was
divisive.
being. It was taking that game and taking that exploration that everybody knows and dividing it up into all these empty planets. Like, I think Elder Scrolls 6 will not have any
Was
of
the
the
loading
problems
screen.
that
I-
Starfield experiences, because that's, for me personally, it was that whole sense of exploration and wonder and going and searching for shit that is completely missing from Starfield.
I also wonder. I have to look at the sales metrics for Fallout 4. I know Fallout 4 isn't the most praised of the Fallout series.
I love
but
Fallout 4.
Yeah, but the problem is it was
no,
hated
I-
by a lot of the Fallout fans.
Yeah, I played it. And I enjoyed it too. But every time I hear people talk about it, it's like, 3 in New Vegas for
I
better.
love the fact that they moved
And-
away from the VAT system and you didn't have to use the VAT system. I like that.
But
I actually like the VAT system. You didn't like the VAT system? The
No,
VAT
no,
system
it's
was
just
good.
good
The
part.
VAT system's cool,
But-
but I also like aiming down the sights and picking
that
off
scoop
people
out.
from far away and sniping.
actually
And
shooting.
VAT system takes all that shit away. Yeah, I
Yeah,
like actually shooting.
But when it comes to Bethesda, they were walking in. They didn't really have. Like, I'm sure there's a myriad of problems, but I also wonder, especially after the 76 fiasco, is like, did that really do some proper damage to the Bethesda brand? Because how many people would have possibly bought Starfield and not even think about some type of negative idea of what is Bethesda? Let me not buy this day one or something like that. So, but did they ever? I'm not saying that it was sold a lot more.
Yeah, I mean,
but
that may be a small part for sure.
yeah,
but
because
I don't think
again,
that
it
was
kind
a
of
major
yeah,
factor.
no. Of course, again, it just kind of goes back to, as we said earlier with The Last of Us. I know they're completely different, but it has some type of negatively walking into the release. So I wonder what effect they could have played. But did they ever release like actual sales numbers? Because they're saying it was popping off on Steam and.
For Starfield?
They did the player count thing. How many?
Yeah, that's all they tell us as players.
That's all they really
Xbox
tell you
is-
is those
doesn't
other
have
numbers. They
sales.
don't tell you the actual sales data.
It's kind of
Yeah.
funny you mentioning
doesn't
Steam
do
because
sales
there was a
anymore.
tweet somebody put out. They said the real winner of this whole console war is Gabe Newell because all the games coming to Steam.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's just missing Nintendo, and then he'll have all the keys.
Then you'll
I
have
mean,
all-
you have all the-
know,
you have all the
you
Infinity
know,
Stones.
You might have Nintendo. if you
and then they wonder
consider
why
it.
there's no fucking Half-Life 3. Why work when you don't have to work? That's what I'm saying.
That's
so
the
there
thing.
you
They
go.
just sit.
God
Work
damn it,
smart, not
Half-Life
hard.
3.
Exactly.
So my question, and this is totally different topic, but I was listening to someone else speak about it. With PlayStation talking about eventually trying to put more games on PC, do you guys think they'll eventually make their own client or store on PC, or will they just stick to Steam? Do you guys think that will happen, or no?
I feel that
No,
they're going to make their own
hopefully
client
not.
eventually.
They're gonna. Yeah.
They want their
think
own
they'll make their own?
monetary gain.
It's really hard for me to imagine PlayStation making their own launcher that would go. I mean, I think if that's the only way they could play, you would. I mean, knowing Sony, they probably might do that. But if that's the only way you can play their games is by downloading their launcher and playing it through that service, I see it. But why sort of go through the headache of building a fucking launcher when you got Steam? Like that doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
I don't think it would be. I don't think it'd be a
you're
good
saying
thing.
'cause I haven't heard-
30%.
Yeah,
30%.
because if they do that, they get to
30%.
keep all their money. So you
Yeah.
know.
That and like you keep all the money still in your own first party, and as well as whatever. If you manage to get third parties on your platform, you get that as well. But that's
They
and see
also
how
love their
Epic's dealing with that.
proprietary
So
bullshit.
yeah,
To be fair, Epic didn't really do a smart job about it. They kind of forced gamers to try to go to it. And
Yeah.
knowing Steam users, they hate that.
you can't force me. I can, and I wouldn't.
Yes, Noof Nukem is in the chat, man. What's up, Noof? How are you doing, boss?
Woo woo.
Boom,
Yep.
boom, kaboom, fuckers.
Boom, boom, kaboom.
We don't swear on this
Yes,
podcast.
sir.
Damn it.
Yeah, this is family friendly, bro.
Fuck you. I'm sorry.
Shit. Y'all
Well,
some pieces of shit. So
okay.
I tell you, man.
Cerebro, let me ask you a question. Do you agree with what I said earlier? Do you think that the Xbox's fundamental problem is that they've not had a must-have game? Or do
I
you-
thought you meant when you were asking earlier about that mole you had.
Yeah, that mole is cancerous, but that's okay. I'm going to keep that mole because with the cancer comes the drugs, and I want the drugs. So there you go. Anyhow,
Big brain movements here.
I think, yeah, because you're right. Starfield was supposed to be the must-have, and you know, Starfield did okay. I mean, I spent hundreds of hours in it, and so you know, until something else came along. I do think that Baldur's Gate 3 didn't just bury Starfield. Baldur's Gate 3 buried everybody. Okay?
if you can bury fucking Zelda, you can bury anything. That's what I got to say.
Yeah.
When you make Zelda look like a footnote in the Game Awards, I'm sorry, you've done something.
Yeah.
Fair, I
Yeah.
think Baldur's Gate was kind of something where everyone was hungry for an old school CRPG again after
Right.
fucking EA abandoned that with BioWare.
But
Yep.
no. Like, but
I also think Zelda being a sequel hurt it a little bit. Like if it had come out in 2017 when Breath of the Wild first came out, I think it would have given a little bit more of a run for its money. Like at this point, we've already seen this. You know, it's
Yeah.
a little bit of the samey
Oh,
same.
yeah, I had a hard time.
But you haven't seen people make robots with penises before, have you? No, exactly. Buy our game.
when are you going to get a robot made out of made out of wood and a penis on a Zelda game? Come on now, and then you could kill things with your penis, shooting lasers from it. Come on now, come on.
It's a great game. What are you talking about?
I don't know, but like you know, like Indiana Jones, I think it'll do fine,
Oh,
but I
that
don't
game of
think
the year to
anybody's
me.
gonna, anybody's going to see it as a must-have, unless it's really, really good, which it has the possibility to be. But you know,
I
What do
honestly
you-
have a hard time seeing Indiana Jones becoming a success, considering how bad the brand is right now. Considering the
Yeah.
state of the movies.
I think it's still going to do well. I think it's going to be
Yeah.
a cool game. And these are the same people that made the freaking Chronicles of Riddick game, which was an amazing game. So
Oh, yeah.
I think
Oh,
it'll
yeah.
be fine. But I do think that the IP definitely has taken
Yeah.
a hit in
And-
recent years. And it's not like this giant super popular thing. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Paul, I'm sorry.
and it's all right, and a lot of the negativity
Something
that
nice,
was
yeah.
before they premiered it, a lot of the negativity after they showed a lot of the negativity went away because they saw what they were trying to do and went, you know what, that doesn't look as bad as I thought it was going to. So I think in that sense,
Yeah.
it got a little bit of a positive bump in that sense. And now that we've finally seen something and people went, oh, you know what, that's not going to be as bad as I thought. You know, all the first person, third person crap, I kind of
As
first
bad as I thought.
well, no, there were no, not me
Shit,
saying
but
that,
it's
but a
just
lot
not
of
total shit.
that's not me saying that, but a lot of people did say that.
And so why? Okay, so when you talk about a must-have game, there's two aspects to a must-have game, right? Number one, it's that the gameplay has to be good, right? That goes without saying. And number two, it's also the marketing. Why hasn't Xbox been able to deliver that? How come?
I
I
can't-
mean,
I
They got
can't
so
talk
many
about
developers.
I can't talk about their marketing. I have no idea what they're doing half the time. So, because sometimes I mean it does seem really odd, you know, but because like even last year, you know, we had the Indianapolis 500 or the race that takes place here just outside of Jacksonville took place like last week, whatever it was.
Daytona 500.
Daytona,
Mhm.
yeah, thank you. And last year when they did that, that was before was right before Forza was dropping, and I thought, well, why didn't they run a
With it?
commercial
Oh, yeah.
during the Super Bowl
Oh, hell yeah.
with with Forza and then transferring from real life Indy 500 footage to Forza, and going and not being able to see the transition, because that would have sold shit.
That'd have been badass.
Yeah, that would have been even back then. That when they did, after that, I went, they should be showing a Forza commercial, you know, and doing exactly as I described, because I would have said, hey, let's put this together, let's make it so they can't tell when the transition takes place, and go, now you're looking at a video game, you know.
Yeah. Xbox has always had an issue with it. We always talk about when it comes to marketing. They just, for whatever reason, with all the money they have, they don't pour enough into marketing, or they're not creative enough with marketing.
It used to be, but they're not.
Yeah, like there should be a banner at the top of the Disney Plus application that's an advertisement for the Indiana Jones video game. I don't see any reason why there isn't.
Yeah, the extent of Xbox marketing is Game Pass, and that's about it right now.
Yeah.
Well,
on the Disney Channel, they could put, you know, this is our apology for the last indie movie. Go play it. Actually, the last one, the Dial of Destiny, I enjoyed it for what it was, but yeah.
Noof said Paul just summed up Xbox marketing. I have no idea what they're doing half the time. And he said that I asked him, I said, why is Indy your must-have game? He said, Indy's got a gun, a whip, and if he has a dildo shit, it will get kinky. So there
you go.
Also, like I've seen video game advertisements at the in the movie theaters as previews before movies. Right. Like they should be before every upcoming Disney movie. That includes movies like Deadpool 3. Yeah. Have an advertisement for the Indiana Jones video game. Like, dude, that's millions, and that's gonna be a fuck ton of eyeballs.
I don't think they really advertise video games, do they?
I mean, dude, look,
I've seen video games.
If this Stanley Cup fucking fiasco has taught anybody anything, everything in life is a marketing zeitgeist. That's all it is. It's whether it gets out there and marketed or not.
I've seen PlayStation ads for PlayStation games before.
I've seen Xbox games in movie theaters before.
Oh yeah, I've seen it all.
Oh, apparently I've been going to the wrong theaters, huh?
It's not all the time, but we're talking about something where now it's specifically catered to that particular film, because I think I don't know if it's the theater or the what do you call it, studios that decide what plays before the movie. But if it's the studio that decides, well, Disney, why wouldn't you want ads for your fucking IP, a game that's your IP, before your movies? Or why couldn't Xbox make that
I don't know if it's actually something Xbox is supposed to reach out and say, talk to like Regal Theaters and go, okay, we want you to show this every time.
Oh shit, yeah.
You know,
like that for me, that's a big win for them. If they can get that to happen.
That's a given.
I think that's an easy sell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, here's something else that happened that's this week that was pretty fascinating. In one of the
he's been reading Xbox Air again. He's been reading Xbox Air.
No. PlayStation. This is PlayStation. PlayStation went on record and said that there will be no new releases of existing IPs until 2025.
I think they said like no new major releases.
No new major, right? So
good. Everyone's tired of seeing remakes. Give us new IP.
No. So do you think
I'm just this is telling me that I won't get Bloodborne 2 till 2026, you know, so
you're not getting Bloodborne 2 till PS6.
Well, you're not gonna get
Bloodborne.
You're not gonna get Bloodborne ever, okay?
I can dream, okay, leave me alone.
The only Bloodborne you're going to get is a disease. You're going to get a Bloodborne disease. Yeah, Bloodborne pathogen time.
I think everybody's hoping for Bloodborne is just kind of out of reality now.
Well, you know, he said two things. One was that one that they don't expect a major new release for an existing IP until 2025, and he also said that the PlayStation 5 is on the last of its. In the tail end of its life cycle. Yeah, last half of its life cycle or something. No, he didn't say last half. He actually said it's like the end of it, right?
No, he said later. I mean, he said later.
Yeah,
later part of his life cycle.
We're 3 years in, and the console generations are usually 6-7 years, so we're at about the halfway point.
But nothing has.
What's funny is technology-wise, we should be pushed farther into the generation, but we're not, which is kind of sad.
So does that mean that a PS5 Pro or whatever you want to call it is imminent?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean they could, but I just don't.
I think the sales haven't, really.
Personally, I think he's been in that position for 3 months. I still think they're trying to get their shit together. Basically, they're trying to do a little bit of reorganization, recover from everything that
right now PS5's in the same boat as Switch, where like they're still selling. They're not having an issue selling, and they're year over year are seeing an increase in the console sales. Like it's not year over year; it's like triple digit up percentage from the previous year. So I don't think they're at a point yet where they say, okay, we need to inject new
Actually,
hardware.
Actually, that's not true.
What do you mean, Cozy?
That's exactly what happened. They expected that sort of level of growth, and they had to scale back their expectations, at least with the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, but I mean, they're you know what their expectations or their estimations of how much they're going to sell in the year versus what they did. I'm talking about what they actually did. Whatever the projections were, if they missed those projections, that sucks for them. But they still saw triple digit year over year growth from the previous year. So the console is still selling more than it did the year before. So
but
why
not as much as they thought it
right
would.
now?
But not as much.
As the
So growth is slowing. They're decelerating.
Well, I mean, you can say that for the Switch. The Switch is still selling 10 million fucking units. It doesn't mean that that's not a good thing, right? Because
let me just say, I do think going back to Sony real quick, the saying that there's not going to be any new major releases of existing titles until next year, that may end up hurting them come holiday season.
I don't think so, because they still are working with a lot of second parties to get.
It depends on what those second parties push out. No,
I know second party's pushing out Stellar Blade, and it's officially been rated NC-17 in South Korea, which I'm like, that's a winner.
But they're in the same boat that Xbox was in, where they had nothing. And you can't say it was dry for Xbox, but PlayStation's gonna be great.
But people buy PlayStations because they're the console to play games on.
It's the console because it's been marketed to be the console to play the games on, right? Like, I mean, like everyone brings up Ghost of Tsushima. Okay, Ghost of Tsushima was a good game. I'm not gonna say it was a good game, but like, people are marketing or talking about Ghost of Tsushima like it's like the next thing since sliced bread, you know? And I'm like,
how dare you, sir? That was fucking one of the games of the generation.
I'm not even talking about like specific games. I'm talking about like rando who wants to go play even like basic Call of Duty. They're not in the gaming community sphere. They just know that you get a PlayStation to play games on.
There's also the vast majority of the people don't know second party, third party, first party. They know what games are coming to my console. And even though I agree with Paul, if there aren't any major first party games released over the course of the year, I would consider that a dry year in terms of first party. If there's still exclusives coming to the console, regular people who aren't us or aren't the hardcore don't know or care where they came from. They just know that I have this game on my console, whether it's a Stellar Blade or a Final Fantasy Rebirth, that they're getting that the other people don't get.
Well, I mean, okay, so they're getting we know right now Rebirth is coming out, Stellar Blade's coming out.
We don't know anything for the back half of the year. Nothing.
Towerborn, I guess, is coming out sometime.
Nobody gives a shit about that.
Yeah. What else was announced in that state of play?
The developers, if any developers are listening, they're like, "Fuck."
I thought Towerborn was the Xbox title.
Which one?
I thought Towerborn was Xbox.
I thought Towerborn was PlayStation.
Wherever it is. Okay, there you go. We don't even fucking know. Let
me look this up. Ignore me for a second. I'm pretty sure Towerborn is Xbox. Yeah, Towerborn is Xbox. Yeah.
Okay,
well, that's how much nobody gives a fuck. None of us here knew.
Who fucking cares?
I had to correct that.
I mean,
triple knew. So triple you care, sir.
Triple cares.
Triple looked it up. Triple looked it up. Triple Googled
it. No. Triple was like, I'm not sure. Before even Googled it, he was like,
I'm pretty sure that was Xbox. But it was like,
none of us had any idea. No one even gave a fuck until he pulled it up.
Well, we know Noob Nukem is looking forward to Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is day one for me. Only game this year worth rubbing one out for. So,
hallelujah, my brother.
Yeah, every copy comes with a box of tissues.
It's a good goddamn game.
All right. It is officially approaching 9 o'clock. Let me go ahead and get everyone out of here. So, yeah, let me go ahead and start with Paul. tell us where we can find you, sir.
Oh, thank God! So I can go to bed or go to the bathroom, then go to bed, not the other way
He's
around.
been up for 37 billion hours.
Why? I don't even. I can't. I'm sorry.
Insomnia is a bitch, dude. What can I say?
That's why I do drugs to go to
Yeah.
bed. I mean,
I
what?
feel you
Well,
on
no,
that.
no, honestly, you know, I know you had DM'd me about, you know, being not showing up, and I pleaded with you to come on, so I'm very grateful that you did that. For me.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
next time you
Do
plead
not
with me, next time you plead with me, no more dick pics. No more dick pics.
Oh, you still showed up?
And you showed up
What do you mean? You said you couldn't even see it, so there you go.
Here's the thing. I'm not even sure it was yours. I think because it was much darker than you appear to be. But
what the fuck is going on?
Hold the
Hey,
phone.
the last time I sent you one, you said you couldn't see it, so I sent you another one that you could see. So there you go.
It was hard for him to get
Anyways.
an inch and a half to get the autofocus to figure out what the fuck it's looking at.
Inch and a half. Try the half without the inch. There you go.
wow.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Cerebral, tell us where we can find you, sir.
You can find me at X at Cerebral Paul 1. You can find me at Twitch at Cerebral Paul. On Mondays and Thursdays, you can find me on 4GQ TV. Monday for the Pop-Up Powerbomb podcast with Spooky, and then on Thursdays for the 4GQ TV podcast. Tuesdays, you can find me on the Xbox Ambassador channel at 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 p.m. Eastern for Gaming Differently with Cerebral Paul. And then on Tuesday nights, you can find me with the Retro Renegades. And then on Fridays, you can find me right here, Wasted with Wize.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And
Busy man.
next, Super, tell us where we can find you, sir.
YouTube at Supernova Gaming, and on Twitter at Yo It's Nova because my old account got fucking suspended. And here every Friday on Wasted
Stalker.
with Wize at 6 p.m. Eastern.
Thank you, sir. Triple, tell us where we can find you, sir.
You can find me on planet Earth at these coordinates. No, you can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. I would never call it X at Triple Combo Gaming, and I suppose you could find me here every now and then on Friday. You know, sometimes maybe.
Damn it.
Just don't accidentally type in XXX.com. You'll be surprised.
Yeah, don't do that.
Thank you for the
Don't,
plug, by the
you're
way.
gonna find
Yeah.
a-
Yeah.
That's
Shit.
support
That was
that.
like the most pathetic plug I've ever heard in my life. All right.
Hey! I get paid by the words, man. You know I have to break down the word limit there. No.
That was pathetic. Wait until it's my turn.
Oh, God. Heaven forbid. Praxis, tell us where we can find you, sir.
No, fuck off.
Okay.
Twitter,
Please.
Darth, and
I'll give you a
Find a
sticker.
Frank Towerborn.
I'll give you a
unless
sticker.
they kick me out, which is it's a possibility. And that's it. That's
I'll
it.
give you a
Enjoy
sticker.
yourselves.
No, yeah, they couldn't hear you because everybody was talking over you.
Yeah,
You
fuck
know
them.
that,
I don't
right?
care.
Say it again. Say it again. Do it live.
Do it live.
There you go. I said it again. We're all good.
Fuck it.
We're doing live. All right, I'm sorry.
We're doing it live. Fuck it.
Fucking thing sucks.
All right.
Praxis Dark because he's an idiot on some platform.
You got it. Got it.
Cozy, tell us where we can find you, sir.
Okay, you can find me
Sir.
on Thursdays.
Hey!
I was waiting, I
Sometimes.
was waiting.
hey,
I just wanted to see if I was gonna get a backlash, but I didn't
to
get
be
one.
fair, you
I
can
set her
be
up. Put
served
line
for,
you
you
got
know,
backlash.
depending on your line of work. I
Wait, I'm
suppose.
confused. Why is it
Go
He
ahead.
just called
Don't
you
worry
a
about it.
dude.
Don't worry
okay?
about it.
Bruh.
All right, I think we're having too much fun with this. Go ahead, Cozy.
You can find me on Thursdays with Paul on 4GQ TV. You can also find me on Sundays on 4GQ TV on Majestic Mayhem. And you can find me on Fridays with Loke on Bull Sitting. And you can find me here
Hey.
on Fridays.
Great.
She actually did better last night. She couldn't remember her name, let alone where her stuff was.
I do want
I just finished a 12-hour shift.
There's difficult.
You
to.
do- wait,
You
it
took a
took you 12
12-hour
hours to
shit.
shit.
What did you
That's
eat?
what I heard. That's what I heard.
Shift.
What the fuck did you eat? That's more than Taco
I-
Bell. I'm sorry to say
I
that.
am
If
up
you
and
did a
out of
12-hour
the
shit, that's a
house.
lot.
Hey,
My
listen,
day
man. She's been
starts at
sitting for
4
12
a.m.
hours. She can't feel her feet. Her legs are
Possible
asleep.
nachos.
Hey,
My
you
day
can
starts
honestly
at
say
4
after,
a.m., and then I
12
get
hours,
home
she's not
around,
full of shit.
Around 6:30 or 7.
All right. Okay. Our guest tonight, Callie, tell us where we can find you, sir.
You guys can find me on my own YouTube
No one
channel,
cares.
Calrex01, and my Twitter handle, Calrex01, and my backup Twitter handle, Calrex011. And on my channel, I currently
Like
run
you have a
the show
backup.
Gamer Couch Club, and as well as the new rebranded show Classy and
Yeah.
Cancelled.
Oh,
You
cool.
doing coke?
No, he's not.
I mean, not really.
Oh, that didn't sound too
Not right
convincing.
now. You said not right now.
In the
That was not
future,
convincing.
Coke
I
is
was
an
just saying,
option.
'cause
Maybe
I
I'm
working right
talk
now.
fast, but I couldn't
Nah,
understand
yeah.
a damn thing you just said.
Somebody get
sir.
some water. I need some water. Right now. Water.
Yeah.
All right. I do
Kelly's
want
like,
to
not right now. I'm working right now.
Before
I'm a
before we
professional.
finish up, I do want to thank everybody who showed up in the chat. FarQTube, thank you for showing up. Rich Kreischer, thank you
Alright.
for showing up.
Okay, Richard,
God
you
Lord,
take
Hungry
that.
Diablo, Cannabis Guardians, thank you for showing up. And Noof Nukem, thank you for showing up. Oh, by the way, remember,
anywhere
Noof
but
has
you-
a
oh,
community
no.
game night this Sunday at 7 p.m. with
Whoop, whoop.
Halo Master Chief Collection. So yeah, please
Hello,
tune
Master
in.
Chief's
It's a fun time. I've
collection.
been,
Let's go.
yeah.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. So yeah, Noof is a brother of mine. He's just sort of what motivated me to sort of start this whole fiasco. And you know, I'm always grateful whenever he shows up. And one night we're trying to get him on, but his schedule is sort of all crappied up. So eventually, when times work out, we will have him on. Him, Arnold, and all of Cletus, and everybody will be in tow as well. Finally,
I'm gonna
Loke.
make him do Safe House Sam for the whole show. He'll lose his voice.
Oh yeah, that would be good. Yeah, that would be good. Yeah. So, all right, Noob, thank you, sir, for showing up. And Loke, you got the last word. So tell us where we can find you and what do you have to say?
It's a really good gun. That's
You can find me. What?
Nothing. Nothing.
That'll give solid.
You can find me on TSWS Gaming on Tuesdays. Well, for the lowdown with Ham Solo. Usually it's me and Ham, but he won't be on this week because he's taking the week off to detox from all the poison on Twitter. On Fridays, I'm here with Wize Old Gamer, but before that, I'm on Bull Sitting on TSWS Gaming. And
pre-show.
some Sundays when Kelly feels like dealing with my rubbish, we do a show on his channel.
Cool.
And
I need
that's
to be on that
that's
show
pretty
one
much
day.
it.
You guys need to have me on.
Oh man, it is wild. You think this is wild? That shit's wild.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
and that one
I
doesn't
don't
have like
know,
a
man.
guidance. That one doesn't have any guidance on like, oh, we're talking about gaming or whatever. And when it goes left, there's no guardrails. You just
It
keep
goes left
going
hard.
left.
Cool.
I need to go.
Yeah.
You
watch
don't have
sometimes,
anything to
man.
say about this whole topic? I usually have a final word that is pretty prophetic.
Corporations don't care, and I don't care to keep telling everyone that corporations don't care. If you don't know at this point, then tough tits. All right.
Tough titty with the
Xbox
snow
has
blade.
been third party since forever. PlayStation is also third party. Only
It's-
Nintendo is first party. Make peace with it. It'll hurt less. Thank you for listening.
I don't know. Isn't Mario like on other devices, not just Nintendo?
Well, the Philips
And
CDI,
Pokemon.
there's a
It's on
Zelda as
cell
well.
phone.
So
exactly. No, stop.
Well, legally.
no,
What
it is
There's a
totally
Super
legal.
Mario
There's 2
iPhone
Zelda
game.
games on
Yeah.
the Philips CDI. There you go. Wouldn't recommend you
Are
playing
you
it. but
serious
well.
right now, Wise?
I was talking
That's
about
where you're drawing the
Mario
line.
Runner, whatever.
Unless you want to strain your
Mario
eyes, I don't
Mobile or
recommend
some
playing
shit.
that thing.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah.
And as
I'm
always,
about to reach over there and smack you.
Oh shit!
Seriously.
so sort of to pivot off of what Loke said, yes, guys, it is inevitable. I actually support what Phil says. I think that, you know, when more people play, we all win. I don't see, again, to this day, I know the panel says that it devalues your box, but a year later, any game being on any platform, I think is just the right thing to do because, hey, you know, not everyone can afford every box like we can. Some people can only afford a Switch. And so those people probably want to play Spider-Man. So why not allow them, especially now that it's been a year and a half after it's been released on your console, what difference does it make? So yeah,
It's called entitlement, Wise.
it's called entitlement. So like, stop capping for these boxes. It's just a means to an end. It's a device. And if you define yourself based off of the box that's next to your TV, guys, turn on the news.
like
There's more shit
3
in
of
this
them,
world
so I'm not
besides
sure.
the box sitting next to your TV. So yeah. Anyhow, that is our show for tonight. So yeah, you could find me, Wise Old Gamer with a Z, on PlayStation, Xbox, and Twitter. And yes, I am kind of do post things that are sort of risque on Twitter. So like, yep, if you are those individuals that do sort of are caught up in your fields, I might not be the best person to follow on Twitter.
I don't know. Have you been permanently suspended twice?
No, yeah, I don't have to change my name to Yo It's Wise yet. So maybe eventually one day that might happen.
Not so bad.
But yeah, anyways, remember, you can be anywhere, but you've not been anywhere yet until you've first been wasted with Wise. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. Play your games, not your consoles.
Peace.
Wise out.
Yeah.
East
yourself.
side.
Love it.
And
That is a
we-
nice
West
outro.
side.
Play your game.